Alright, good morning everyone. Welcome back to the show. I'm your charming, self-proclaimed, yet still humble host, Mukluk, and today we are back in Guild Wars 2, which is Tyria, by the way. Did you know that? Hello there. Welcome. Muk, it's time for an update. Please say your full Muk name backwards. No, I just woke up, man. I don't want to do that right now. Wish I could... Nice preparation. Hi, Sand. You're gross as always. Greg says, damn it, I forgot this was running in the background when the sound of the stream started. I just about pooped. I hope you're watching from the bathroom. Let's see. Sand says, I'm here to procrastinate. If I get fired, this channel should compensate me. I can't afford to compensate anybody else. I barely afford Noxxi. What are you talking about? No, I don't think that's happening. Greetings all. Hello, Corin. Hello, 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 Venusaur. Not to be confused with Venusaur. I'm betting Bard is Ranger. Not sure about the cards, though. You think Ranger's getting Bard? I would be shocked if Ranger's getting Bard. It's been, like, there was... It's... I don't know. I don't really know why, but everybody considers Mesmer to be the musical profession. I think everybody is pretty certain that, Mesmer's the one getting Bard. Play the bow like a one-string banjo. Lullaby to your pet. What if it's like the Pied Piper and you you just throw lots of rats at people? Muk, is Ravenswatch a short game? Ravenswatch is a game like Overwatch where it's infinitely repeatable content and then you just stop when you're done. It really doesn't have a story, like, hardly at all. So you just unga bunga until you're through. That's basically it. So it's a very repeatable game loop until you get tired of it. What if Warrior gets Bard, loot, smash? I mean, maybe. There's no rule that says they can't have Bard. Hi, Muk and Chat. Hi, Effley. Muk, it's because there was a Bard in the intro to Mesmer. No, it's more than that. It's... So, Bard... there was an April Fool's where they were going to get the Minstrel as one of their, elite specs, and then they were like, haha, it's just a joke, and then they didn't get it. And then Virtuoso is very similar to a Bard in terms of the naming convention. But... Also, I don't know if you guys have ever gotten this bug. Whenever I come to this guild hall and I try to harvest these, I can't. For like a minute. And then I can, as you just saw. Like, I always just come here, and then I have to wait like 30 to 60 seconds before I can harvest these. This bugs out. Remember when we thought Virtuoso was getting Spear? Yes. Yep. The Mesmer tried and attacks people with musical notes, though. Right, which doesn't make any sense, but yes, it does. So that's another thing about the musical thing. Like, just... Some guy being able to make illusions out of light, like Green Lantern, goes underwater and attacks with music, or sound is muffled, is super strange. Muk, I did something sacrilegious. I tried Healer Chrono that provides alacrity and quickness. Why does this work? I don't think it provides it to the whole group. I think you can give yourself a lack in quickness, but I think the rest of your group only get one of the two of them. That one. He's using Relic of the Chrono? Okay, then I don't know the build. I can't say anything on that. Preparing Bard builds, you don't even know what Bard does and whether it even has a new weapon. Correct! The title is a joke. Maybe that is inspired by Sirens, kinda, Mesmer's Trident stuff. Possibly. I think yesterday's spec will be Guardian. No, I will not elaborate. The spooky mask shield flower thing? New Bard water skill, Sonic Wave. Yeah, they just go underwater and they're like... And then just make like a big underwater sonar shockwave. Hey, Muk and Chat, I'm off work right now and your streaming schedule is my calendar now. When I realized you were streaming Guild Wars 2, I went, it's Tuesday, isn't it? Yes. Yes, it is. I see Mesmer to Siren connection for the Trident attack animation. Frosted Flakes mount skin. What? Oh, Tony the Tiger? It's the plushy one. It's a big stuffed animal. It's great. The spooky masked guardian only appears in your nightmares, Firebird, and PTSD. I think from the poem it's more Ranger or Ellie. Oh, what is the poem for the mask? I haven't seen it. Did the time remaining for the current season go up in the Wizard's Vault? 112 days remaining, it says. If that's what you mean. What time does Guild Wars 2 release the sneak peek? I do not think there will be one today. But if there was one today, I think it's an hour and 40 minutes away from now. Like, what if the mask is Super Saiyan hair and we got a Saiyan Elite spec? What? You think the mask is Super Saiyan hair? I don't think it's that. The Sonic Wave will probably be tuned to C minor, and the Elite version will be in C major. Praise Joko. What? I remember it being a little lower than that. Okay, you just trying the other new builds for the last patch? Yeah. I need suggestions. Because I said yesterday I was gonna try Heal Alak Vendi today, and then I woke up this morning and I'm like, wait, I did that last week. I'm an idiot. I've already done that one. So I gotta try something else. Gotta find another one of the new builds to try out. See my comment for a suggestion. You said Fire Burns Alak Tempest build. I did Heal Alak Tempest last week. Are you talking about a DPS Alak Tempest? Is Bard class commonly known as a healer in BG3? No, BG3 is based off of Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. In Dungeons & Dragons, a Bard is a jack of all trades, along with very high charisma, so there's the running joke that they seduce everybody they want to, and then they also have a few other things. For example, a Bard does have access to some healing magic. They're not as good as a Cleric by any means, but they can throw a heal in a pinch. They also could tank in a pinch. They also could DPS in a pinch, you know? And then they also have the music thing, which when they use it, increases the dice rolls of everyone else nearby for a time. So yeah, it's... In D&D, Bard is kind of a jack of all trades. It has access to a little bit of everything, plus the music stuff. What is your main class in Spec? Ranger. Warrior main looking for something new? Yeah, I have max level characters of all 9 classes, but the class that I've played the most of is Ranger. Like, no doubt. Let's see, where is the Gobbler? There it is. There we go. Let's see, Bard and Rift was a support role, might be the same in Guild Wars 2. Yeah, in EverQuest it kind of was also. Bard was... like one of the best buffers in the game. They could join the group. They could do some CC in a pinch. They would reduce downtime, like how long you had to rest in order to recover before you fought again. They did some damage. If you got too many mobs, they could stun lock a bunch of them while you fought them one at a time. They had all kinds of niche things. If you were to main something besides Ranger, what do you think it'd be? Engineer. I'm a big enjoyer of Scrapper and also Mechanist. Don't really enjoy Hollowsmith, though. If not that, then Necro. Ranger, Engineer, and Necro are my top 3 played, and then the other 6 are way, way less. Haven't played in years, but thinking about coming back. What expansion should I start at? So, there's 2 ways to really go about it. Like, one, every expansion did continue the story of the game. So you could just play them in order from where you left off, or like start a new character and just play through it all in order. That would give you a ton of playtime. 2, you could just jump all the way to the newest expansion. They made it knowing some people would do that. There's nothing wrong with you doing that. However, each expansion does add class features that you would be missing if you don't eventually get them all. For example, Janthier Wilds added the ability to equip spears, a new land weapon for all classes. So any build you see online or something that requires the use of a spear, you'd be like, oh, I can't play that. I don't have Janthier. Stuff like that. Like there's a few new features for build customization in every X pack. It does significantly less damage to stuff like Summoner and Black Mage because of buffs only, same with Dancer. When I saw the Bard class icon, I instantly thought of this. What is this link? Black Myth Wukong, the headless guy singing scene. Oh my god. Okay. Yeah, I played Black Myth Wukong. I cleared Black Myth Wukong. I remember that. Dude, the story and lore of that game is an acid trip. I started with Soto to get my Sky Skill to help with other stuff. Hey, Muck Chat. Hi, Mr. Mattyman. Old expansions that had stat types. No Hot is no Viper. The fact that you say Summoner tells me you haven't played it quite a while. Bard out, DPS is Summoner, and Machinist now. I'm new and starting at the beginning. I just got the bundle. Seems to be the best choice. What's up, Taco? Welcome to the community. Let us know if you have any questions. Mug, did you see the Chinese text drop of the new trait? No, I asked earlier what it is, but I don't think I saw a response. I did not see it. It wasn't up when I last checked yesterday. And I woke up not long ago today. Let's see. I'll sound stupid. What is will the expansion be this year or next year? This year. They're looking at like October right now. I gave you a response, Muck. Scrolling up. With sharp intent, I cleave the wind. Shadow hunting stirs the waves. With sharp intent, I cleave the wind. Shadow hunting stirs the waves. Shadow hunting stirs the waves. Like I'm imagining some kind of predator underwater, but cleave the wind. Wait, sharp intent, I cleave the wind. Shadow hunting. Is it like a boat? Cleave the wind and also the waves. Makes me think of a ship. That is so freaking cryptic. Pirate? Yeah, but that symbol's the spooky masked shield thing. What does that have to do with a pirate? I saw some posts on Reddit asking what would the community think if they split elite specs across multiple patches for different classes. Personally, I'd take all elite specs in the last patch than this. No, I want them at launch. The last expansion that had elite specs was End of Dragons, and we had them on day 1. I do not want the elite specs to come out in the last patch. That would mean it would be like almost another year away. 5 months and going. Like, if they're adding elite specs, they need to be out with the launch of the expansion. Boat pet confirmed for Rangers. Yeah, there you go. My first thought was ships with raised sails. Yeah, I was kind of thinking ships too. No new expansions until October? What do you mean until October? Yeah. So the last 2 years, the new expansion came out in August. And this one, they said they need more time, and which is fine. And they said, so we're postponing it to October. So it's slightly behind where it used to be. Which is a shame, because the last 2 came out, like, on my birthday. Mike, I know you're on NA, but would you happen to know of some EU communities that constantly raid for beginners? Not necessarily training, because I've done the wings, having trouble finding a static. I don't off the top of my head. Training? I could point you to some for training, like Crossroads Inn. But for static groups, I would be as lost as you. I would have to just look around. Poem gave me Jade Sea vibes with Demons and Jade Wind. Raid Alliance Discord probably, Gotboard says. No expect until October, meanwhile 5 years to POF and OD. Yeah. I was like, what do you mean, like, until October? That's not that far away. Did you think we gonna have some change on boons the next X-Pack? I would love a change on the boon system. I don't know that they're going to do one. They also posted an image with each icon, which has space for the others. Can't wait to be farming lab instead of doing the expansion. Yeah, typically during October, I'm doing a whole bunch of spooky games, so this is going to cut into that.
Apparently, some astral ward are stuck in the Mursoc mirrors. And some
Let's see. Is anyone at the... No. I was going to see if anyone was at the jumping puzzle. I need to park this character back there again. Did you think... so changes in time. A lack in quickness for the boons. The game boons are already better. There's a lot of issues with the boons. I think the biggest thing, which is... Okay, if you've ever played most other MMOs and you're fighting like a raid boss, usually everybody is spread out. So if one idiot gets like tackled by the boss, it doesn't cleave through everybody else, you know? You don't typically have the whole raid in a pile. They're spread around the room as long as they're still in range of like healers and stuff. But in our game, everybody stacks on the boss's toenail. Why is that? 2 reasons. One is the way that healing works. They want their heal to splash on anybody that needs it. And 2 is the boon system. If those things were different, then we wouldn't have fights where everybody is just stacked on a toenail. So, I mean, I would love if those get changed, just because I think that those look kind of dumb. Like, when I'm showing other people the game and trying to kind of sell it to them, I don't show them that, because I think it looks kind of silly. But it is a thing. So if they change that, I wouldn't mind. I'm not really expecting them to change it, but if they did, I'd be all for it. The issue that causes stacking isn't boons, it's action combat.
Hello chat. Hello Minimico.
I
guess Muck is also here. He better be leading Bavanesis meta in 50 minutes.
It's the healing system and the boon system. That's mainly it. Like the Orzone Paragon boons coming from a shout with decent AoE. There's many ways to do it. Like for example, if you want... Okay, boons. Like off the top of my head, one would be if they had drastically larger ranges, so that people could spread, you know, much further out. The second thing would be is if the boon system in this game was replaced with something similar to a buff system from other MMOs, where, like, you know, in World of Warcraft, you buff before the fight, you know? The priests buff your stamina, the mages buff your intellect, and it's just like a cast and it lasts 60 minutes. You put the big buffs up before the fight begins. And then that's basically, you know, that's it. But in our game, the buffs last like 30 seconds to a minute, so we have to stay close to each other to constantly reapply them over and over and over and over and over. One of the groups that runs to Quaddle at Reset calls it the Dragon Pedicure. Yeah. Yeah. What is the advantage to ANET for not asking all healer and boons large diameter instances? I would imagine it's processing. So, like, when you do a boon around you, right? So, like, if I do, I don't know, like this right here. This right here gives buffs to people, the 5 people in that circle that are nearest me, right? If that circle was 10 times that size, it would have to scan a larger area, figure out who needs it, and then give the buffs to those people. If the radius of my healing was much larger, like, you know, this is a heal radius right now. If this was much more massive, it would have more people to check to decide, like, who's going to get it. So it'd basically be like processing. You know, I would imagine it's processing power. But at the same time, I feel like they could reduce the processing power for, like, when I am pulsing alacrity, it's like doing an application of alacrity every 1 second. If they just made it to where you get 30 seconds of alacrity every 20 seconds, like just one big application rather than 1,000 tiny ones, that would probably save on processing power too. I like how applying the buffs as part of the rotation, it diversifies roles in PvE. I don't know, it's funny to hear you say it diversifies roles because they just homogenize heal Scourge so much that it's completely interchangeable with all the other heal alacrity providers and has almost no flavor left of its own. I disagree. I disagree with you. But luckily for you, I'm not in charge of balance, and luckily for me, you're not in charge of balance. Hey, Monemic, what's up? Keeping the boons up adds to the skill depth, too. keeping the... I don't know. There's a lot of issues with that. Because, like, you say it adds to the skill depth, but I mean, I can go to any Snowcrow's guide and follow it for a few minutes and typically be able to keep boons up with whatever class. However, at the same time, you've got, new players that are not able to do that. Like, if you're playing, I don't know, World of Warcraft, and you've got a new mage in your group, they're capable of casting the int buff, and then you've got the int buff. In this game, though, if your quickness providing DPS is in your group, and they're not able to keep quickness up, the whole group might lose like 50 to 100,000 damage per second. That is insane that one person has that much control over the damage output of the party. Hi, Nog Dog. Does yours too have shapeshift like a WoW Druid? Not really, no. The Norn race has a shapeshift cooldown that is kind of for fun. It has a little bit of use in some various game modes, but it doesn't really have a class that's fully based on that. Not in the same way. Shroud, come on. Shroud and kits and stuff like that, yeah, they give you a couple new abilities, but that's not really anything as severe as changing into a completely different form. So, not really. Not really. Lich Form. Lich Form is on a very long cooldown and is an elite move. That is not comparable to someone whose entire build is based around being a bear 100% of the time. Let's see. Next April Fool's Day, can you make every patron's entry sound the fire alarm chirp? No. That would be a lot of work. Like, how are you preparing builds for specs that we don't yet know anything about yet? Oh, you're right. You got me. I guess I'm not doing that. Okay. Let's see. I missed my WoW Druid. I was a bear man. Yeah. Yeah, for those that didn't play WoW, like, there was a whole skill tree for being a bear. There's a whole skill tree for being a cat, which was kind of like playing a thief. There was a whole skill tree for being a moonkin, which was a giant chicken that shot lasers. There's a tree for being resto, which for some patches you were like a tree form person, like a tree ant, and you would heal people. But it was not comparable to just like, change your hotbar for a few seconds. Any idea what happened to my XP bar? I just fully graded out. No mastery level is visible into the golden bar. I don't know what you broke. Revs shift the voices in their heads. Yeah. Bearcat was great before they split them. Muck leaking that bar to lead spec is going on every profession. Shake my head. I was able to reach your 100% boon up time for a lack on Ormancer last night. Yeah. I mean, it kind of goes back to when Preach recently tried Guild Wars 2 and I was following his journey through the game and how stunned he was to find out that his damage could be doubled based on whether or not the people near him were applying their boons correctly. And I'm not really a fan of that. I mean, that is the way it is in the game right now. And if it stays that way, fine. But I would be happy to see it change. I'd also be happy to see the workload divided up. Right now, typically, the heal support in a party is expected to give 25 might, fury, vigor, swiftness, regen, protection, quickness or alacrity, stability on demand, Aegis on demand, and healing and cleansing. And then you got 3 DPS that do, like, I mean, they don't even not stand in the fire. Hi, Noxxi. So, I mean, I would also be happy to see that workload divided up a bit. Maybe somehow the offensive DPS provides the offensive boons, like Might and Fury. And then the defensive DPS that are providing the heals provide the defensive boons. Stuff like that. There are DPS players, and then there's, quote, DPS players. They ruin stuff when they remove class uniqueness. I don't know if I'd go so far as to say ruined, but I do dislike the, making so many things so similar. Like, I know Noxxi, for example, will disagree with me on this, but I feel like Scourge is 98% just a heal-a-lack provider with nothing unique about it anymore. There's, it does have a few minor things, like Last Rites, and the barriers, which Mechanist also has. But for the most part, it is just, you know, another heal a lack provider that is in the deck of cards, and you can just draw into anyone you want. DPS should be Might Stacks and Fury. Requirement, boon heals for support boons, boon DPS, everything else. Yeah, I'd love that. Okay, we gotta find something new to try today. What are some other new builds that came out as a result of the recent patch? We tried out the new Heal Mirage. We tried out the new Heal, what was it, Staff Tempest? We tried out the new Heal Alack Vindicator. I feel like there was something else we tried. Hang on. Let me see. Heal Alack Vindy, Heal Alack Mirage, Staff Transfusion Scourge, Auramancer Tempest. Oh, that was it. Mirage, Scourge, Vindy, Auramancer. Those are the ones that, all the heal versions. Those are the ones that I've tried since the patch hit. Have you tried Power Alack Mirage? No. Do you have a Heal Quick Berserker video? I do. It's not recent, though. I'm not sure how up to date it is. Heal Binger? Nox, I'm gonna be honest. Like, that is at the bottom of my list. It's on my list of things to try. It is on the list. It's at the bottom. That sounds bad because the entire class mechanic is you drink Blight and reduce your max health. Why would I want to be a boon provider that shaves my own max health down rather than be one that provides barrier and increases max health of the party? Like that right there, that's it. Just that. That's the part that I'm just like, why would I do this? The new Power Fire Alack is OP right now. For the thrill of it. For the thrill. Healing you DPS mains is already a thrill. You should give a shot to the easy Inferno Elementalist build. Is that just campfire the whole time? How is the, let's see. Harbinger is such a letdown class, and again, that's EOD for you. No, it's not a letdown class. I'm just talking about as a support. Sounds like the doctor healing you with only alcohol. I hope they're also reworking traits altogether. Mass rework of stuff would be neat, but I guess we just have to wait for Guild Wars 3. Again, if they're making a Guild Wars 3, there's no guarantee it's going to be even an MMO like Guild Wars 2. Guild Wars 2 is nothing like Guild Wars 1. It might not even have traits. Does Monk actually play DPSs, or does he keep going support? I get bored playing DPS. I find it to be very dull, but I do, you know, visit it for like the I tried videos from time to time. Heal Binger meme started out as a crap post and needs to die already. I mean, I don't know that it's that bad, but okay. It's trying to like throw a bone here. Like, I think probably the most powerful thing about the Harbinger is when it throws the ultimate vodka bottle and it gives you every boon in the game. So if you start the fight with every single boon in the game and there's no ramp up time for your party, that's pretty good. That drastically increases the DPS of your group right at the start of the fight because of that. I don't know if it has any other strengths. And Noxxi will have to correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't know of any other strength that it has that like another quickness healer wouldn't already have too. Guild Wars 3 is an FPS looter shooter where we play as Skrit. Don't forget deck building. Heal Alack Specter, I've heard it's better now. Yep, I haven't tried Heal Alack Specter since it was terrible. Bards for all classes. Everyone gets bards. Guitars get, guitars, what are they saying? Necromancers get death metal. I've been using Quick DPS Harvey for my Fractal group and call the elixir doping, giving them drugs. You do that on Condi Power Quickness Harvey too. I'm just sick of people showing up to Fractal CMs wanting to play this crap. Dude, it's every single post that you post in my chat is hitting the filter. Calm down. I see your messages, but damn, dude. I mean, if you're clearing the fractals, does it matter? But yeah, I will say, like, I'm trying to get Noxxi to tell me something about it that just like sets it apart. Like, I remember so many people were so mad at me when I made the video about healing with a warrior, the heal blade sword, when that became possible. And like I tried it. I had a video of me doing it and clearing stuff, and I'm like, yeah, it's all right. And then like everyone's like, oh my god, freaking Nike was like, oh Bucky, this is the 911 of Guild Wars 2. I'm like, what the hell? But that class wasn't even cutting its max health down. You know, Harbinger reduces its max health and makes itself squishier while it's playing. So I'm just like, what's the point here? Muck, my sub message didn't go through. What did you do? Stop breaking stuff. He says, how's it going, Muck? How's it going, chat? Imagine an insane bass. Oh, you typed ass. Bass as a weapon for the bard where you bash out funky riffs while doing some DPS. Oh boy. Oh, bass. I thought you were talking about fish until I got to the word bard. Alright, Gark, I see you. Thank you for the resub. I appreciate you. Every class is bard. Yes, we're all bards now. Yeah, I read bass. It's bass. Fish boss confirmed. I can't talk. Gonna disagree with making myself squishier. Harvey's actually really tanky, is built in constant high health regen. Again, though, this Scourge can do what the Harvey does, but then also have barrier on the whole party, increasing their max health by 50%. It's just a lack instead of quick. But, I mean, I'll try it at some point. But as an outsider looking in, knowing what I know about Harvey, I am definitely like, what's the appeal, right? I am Dervish on Wish. I'm Reaper. Dervish on Wish. On this basis, play Chrono. It's better than every other healer. Why play anything else? Chrono is extremely solid. As far as better than every other healer, I would say on many fights, yes. On all, probably not. There's someone above Anissa's JP if you want it. Yeah, let me see. I'm on EU right now. We'll see, though. Scourge can also heal and apply barriers 100% of the time, as opposed to Harbinger, where half of the time you're in Shroud and you're not healing. Did you see the other logos they released? I'm so confused. Oh, they're mowing the lawn. I'm so confused as to what the others are. I see a Paladin-style helmet, a Bard. No idea what the others are. Yeah, I did a video for every one of them, Garcon. Harbinger makes things float. Yeah, with its ultimate. Let's see. Chest on jumping puzzle. What's the guy's name? Tiddly. Mesmer plus Gambler's Gambit from the X-Men. I mentioned him in it, yeah. Send me out. There we go. Tip. Alright, cool. That guy's back at the spot. Can we get an update that will get Chrono class become normal? Hello, HOA. Yeah, the neighborhood I'm in has an HOA. Pay a little bit each year. They mow all the lawns, and I never have to do yard work. You did a video. My damn YouTube isn't giving me notifications. I'm gonna punch my computer. Yeah. Hang on a second. So here's my recent videos. There's the guitar. There's the helmet. There's the, I don't know, atom, nuclear. There's the cards. There's the newest thing. I don't even know what to call that thing. Damned Americans and the tipping culture. Yeah, I should also send him a mail with /clap in it, right, Lotus? The Warhorn Black Hole, yep. Hey, Mugshad. Hi, Goddess. Today we shouldn't get a teaser. I am not expecting one. Last week, we didn't get one on Tuesday. We got one every day of the week except the 4th of July, which was Friday, which was a holiday in the US, which is where their main office is, and they did one on Saturday. So I'm guessing every weekday this week except Tuesday we'll get one. But we will see if I'm wrong very soon. If they are doing one today, it would be in about 70 minutes. When I saw the cards, I thought Mesmer 2, but on the other hand, we already have... I thought Thief. I saw the cards, I thought Thief, because, like, Gambler, and not just because of the initiative point on the cards, because it could have been a diamond, but, like, gambling. They have to show off all 10 elite specs because Bard is on everyone and the other 9 for the others. Yeah. The card should really only be Mesmer or Thief. I mean, they gave Necromancer, vodka, and a gun, so I mean, they can really make anything work that they want. Man, I missed the game. I wish they supported Mac, and yes, I know there are ways to backdoor, but it never runs the same. My thought is that they finally remembered Arcane as part of Elementalist handbooks, so they might be going with a more magician-y approach. Maybe. They gave Ellie a gun. Yep. And Haboob. And Haboob. They make Thief like Firebrand instead of Tomes, we get decks. I wish the cards were Revenant and you just channel Canuck. I've heard people say that lore-wise Revenants can channel people who are alive, but so far they've only ever channeled dead people. So if y'all were gonna channel Canuck, I'd be like, save Canuck! Really don't think Ellie would be Arcanist, because that's just Mesmer. I mean, Ellie does have arcane skills, like Arcane Waven and stuff. It's just they don't have any classes based around the arcane. Like elite specs, I mean. How do you channel someone's alive? What was the lore? It's something like if they've left a very strong impression in the world, then that impression will, like, you know, have a remnant in the mist, and then they can draw on that. But I don't know. It's something like that. I know more of the lore from the novels than I do from, like, obscure game stuff. I think the helmet is for Rev, and you'll be able to summon Jorah and some other warrior. I think all 9 classes will be 9 new classes, each one with 3 whole new elite specs. You're out of your damn mind. Joko technically alive and dead, so we can channel Joko. Can we kill Aurene and then Revs can channel her? Wow, rude. I'm pretty sure if Aurene dies, it's going to be like a nuke going off. Muck, when you go to Guild Wars 2 meetup, please ask ArenaNet to get Bram killed and add a strike mission on proper Zaitan fight ending. Dude, I don't want to get banned from coming back. I actually sent them a message today, asking them if they wanted to do like a legendary giveaway at the meetup, because I could provide a couple. I also asked if there's any update on permission to do more plushies, because I've been waiting on that for like a month or 2. My assumption is the Atom-looking icon is Ellie, and they will get void powers, all the elements combined. Does that mean Rev can get a self-actualization spec where you just channel yourself? In theory, yeah. Channel the commander. Ryland was cool and set up for a redemption arc. I mean, I don't really think so. Ryland went into, like, Jormag's open arms and started, like, killing all his people. I mean, he pretty much just made really bad decisions. I don't think he needed a redemption arc. But also, you don't have to channel good people either. Because, like, Shiro, you know? Like, you can have, like, a villain and channel them. Does that mean let's see, Megadeth Necro? Yeah. Thinking Sylvari Rev Legend, like Traherne or the other wielder of Khalidbolg, name escaping me. Traherne or the other wielder of Khalidbolg? Who else wielded Khalidbolg? How many teasers are left? 4 more, I think. I'm guessing Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Monday. Rhiannoch? Okay, I don't know Rhiannoch. What do you think about Joko being the new legend for Rev? I would love the dialogues. Oh, the dialogues would be fantastic. There's actually a quest in, like, Living World Season 4 or something, where Revs channel Joko briefly to get out of a sticky situation. What about the idea for kind of like dual professions in Guild Wars 1, but it's dual elite specs, and each one could be on 2 different professions, so the traits interact with profession A and B differently? That sounds amazing. I think that sounds like way too much for this game. That sounds like a complete overhaul of the build system for the entire game. I think that'd be way too much for them. Didn't my channel Scarlet? Yes. My Trin channeled Scarlet Briar. Yeah, then when she became a Revenant. Which basically gave her the power to summon a giant torso and Hulk smash people. Thing was, Scarlet... Okay, hold on. Let's think about that. So during the fight, when she channeled Scarlet, she had, like, giant angry torso. She summoned clones. And a lot of the clones had rifles. And, you know, guns and stuff. Because I think... What class... I think Scarlet was technically an engineer. I mean, she basically made, like, giant murder mechs and stuff. So it'd be kind of like, you know, channeling a psychopathic engineer. If we assume none of the teasers are Necro, what would you like to see for Necro? You know what? I saw someone... Okay, you know how Mechanist got a dedicated pet build for Engineer? I would like to see Ranger get a dedicated pet build. Like, an uber flesh golem. And it's like, you know, build a bear workshop. But it's build a zombie workshop. And you different traits, put different angry parts on it. Just... It can be a bunch of little minions or one big nasty one. Plus chip, sure. Let's see. I want Gun Ranger. I absolutely don't. We have too many projectile weapons as it is, and they can all get blocked by the same moves in PvP. No more projectile weapons. I would say I want shield or focus, personally. The build a zombie workshop, different traits with different angry parts on it. Like the idea, yeah. With the Strength Scarlet channeling, you have to keep in mind that Mai went too far. You're not supposed to channel as hard as she did. That's how the giant Scarlet Spirit was able to form. A gun that shoots the pets. Do you mean shoot at a pet, or, like, pets fire out of the gun? Gun Ranger, Rangers use it as a blunt object. That reminds me of the key hold on a second. Hold on. R3, key slam, axe gun. Hold on. There's a weapon. I'm hoping I can find a picture of it. Okay, here we go. Here we go. Oh, nice. Someone did like a deviant art of it. All right. This is from Total Warhammer. Kislev, which is a faction that's kind of based off of like Russia and that part of the world. They've got these guns in the game. And when they run out of ammo, they just flip it over and they got an axe. They basically said, you know what? Forget bayonets. Bayonets are for cowards. Our guns are also axes. This is what they use. So we could have something like that. Necro can't use shield yet. Maybe that teaser is Necro, and the fact that it's made up of 9 spots means 9 pets. 9 pets. Yeah, there you go. What if it has too much recoil? You lose an arm? You don't have the blade pressed against your shoulder. Yeah, the blade is pointed downward when it's against your shoulder. And they put it on their arm with too much flair. It chops them in the back of the head. You guys are all holding your guns wrong. Hey there, new to goers too. I played a lot of WoW and FF. Is this game friendly to new players in terms of learning the world and lore? Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah, Riku, the game itself, you can take your time. They do not increase the max level as they add new expansions. The max level hasn't changed in like 10 years. So there's no rush. You can just go through the game at your own pace. It won't take you long to get to max level, and then there's just a million things to do at max level. So yeah, it's absolutely new player friendly. And if you got any questions, you're welcome to ask us. What if Necro gets short bow and each arrow spawns a minion on hitting enemies? Just tiny angry minions riding the arrows. What's Bard? It's someone who plays music. Not as many as them giving Ellie one of the bows in their short range. Yeah, I had this theory back in End of Dragons. So, you know how every version, every Mesmer weapon has an ability that summons a clone? What if they have Mesmers get longbow, and their clone summoning ability, like, they pull back an arrow and they fire it, and the arrow transforms into a clone in, like, a Superman position and just decks the target? Just Munkin just flies up and punches them. And then you know, then it summons the clone. Monk, can you show your Ranger Bard build? The super secret stuff. Muck, when you brought up Necro's Swarm minions, I immediately thought of the Pied Piper. Did you read his extended lore? He's basically the only one Baba Yaga didn't screw over because when he went to her, she just suggested to him that he should go into pest control, which made him super rich. No, I didn't see that. As a newbie player playing Mesmer, that would be awesome. I really want NG turret build. NG turret build was actually a thing at the launch of the game, and it was too strong, so they nerfed it a bit, and they kind of never went back on that. They nerfed it because it was like oppressive, and it's been kind of bleh ever since. They should just cleave their enemies in melee with a longbow. Would be a nice counterpart to shooting lasers with a greatsword. You can still do it. It's nowhere near what it was. Like, rocket turret was so good, every engineer was using it. So any world boss, there would be a line of like 30 to 40 rocket turrets over on the side just firing volleys at the guy. It was beautiful. And they all, I think, applied burning stacks at the time, so there's lots of burning going on. Okay, so we need to find, let me see. We need to find a new build to try out. What do we got? Let's see. Here's support Alack Specter build. I haven't tried that. Okay, it's actually, this one's actually on Guild Gen. The last few builds I've done have been so new, they've only been on Snowcrows and not on Guild Gen yet. Let's see. Hillbinger. I'll try that out at some point. I'm really not in a rush to, though. Let's see. Condi, Alack Specter. No. Wait, hold on a sec. Where's support Alack Specter? Heal Alack Specter. Here we go. Do you think they would bring out a Scythe even though they do have the Scythe skins? Let's see. Hold on, I'm comparing the two. Okay, there's one trait difference between Guild Gen and Snowcrows. Let me see. What is this? That's not too different. Okay. And then, what about, like, utilities and stuff? Okay, a lot of similarities. I love it when the websites for the various builds can all kind of agree on how to play. Let's see, Scepter Pistol, Scepter Dagger. They're doing Scepter Pistol. Let's see. Pimpin' Foot says, I would love to see another melee power weapon on Revenant. For some reason, Sword doesn't really hit for me. Melee power weapon. Greatsword. You got Greatsword. That's really good. At Muxo, are you just going to write songs and poems that you'll sing as you play Bard when it comes out? I mean, it depends on the class, right? Like, I feel like Necromancer should be, like, disturbed, you know? So in combat, you're just... Oh, I can't do it, but you know. Rev Greatsword is great, literally. Yes, it is. It's really good. The block is really fun on it. Because anytime you block, you turn around and smack them in the face. All the teasers were for Guild Wars 3, Muck. That would be honestly hilarious. If all of this build-up is for a completely different game. Inferno, Alack Tempest, or Power, Alack Mirage. I did a Tempest build. I did Tempest and Mirage support versions last week, so I don't want to do another build for those so soon. So I guess I'll look at the Heal Alack Specter. The last time I played Heal Alack Specter, it was honestly a travesty. It was just awful. It would constantly, like, stealth your teammates and turn their attacks off. And you would constantly need to target an ally, target an enemy, target an ally, target an enemy. So it was... like, I feel like it was more troll than Healbinger is. Like, everybody's like, oh, Healbinger is so troll. I feel like Heal Alack Specter was absolute, just, ugh. Ugh. Alright, we gotta clean up the bag a little bit first. Okay, let's go to Mistlock for a second. This is one of my treasure chest parked characters. I've had a rough transition this year. I was supposed to be done with Guild Wars 2, but new specs pulling me back. Well, got you, Sam. I still have high hopes the next expansion will introduce Focus main hand. Rev Greatsword sounds a bit too tinny for me to enjoy using. Hammer, Axe Mace, Berserker is fun. Been bopping things with Rupturing Smash. Nice. Alright, let's clean up this dude's bag a little bit. Do that and that. And... let's see. Search un-ID'd stuff. Oh well, I need to clean up the luck in my bank. It is building up a little bit. Alright, that's all of that. Do I have any yellow things that need to be sold before I tear them all apart? It's a third of a goal. Ah, no! Dang it. Okay. Alright. Salvage all yellows. Okay, much better. Alright. And... Aerodrome. I feel like the Bard needs to have the Minstrel Legendary, though. What if they made a Bard class and then it can't use Focus? So it's incapable of interacting with the Minstrel. I was like, what? Like, I watched your Strikes Guide and did Bone Skinner was the only one that didn't die. Nice. You heard it here, chat. People who watch my raid guides could solo raid bosses. Or strike bosses, same thing. Someone I can think of, unless we're getting new elites, new weapons. Still hoping for offhand thief weapon that has so much potential. I did a thing. Gark, I don't think it was that impressive. Okay, let's see. Boop, 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 boop. So Specter, guy on one leg, guy saying, look at my knife. Alright, bing, bing, bing. Bang, bang, bang. Bing, bing, bang. And then the other version of the build is that one. Okay. And then we got that thing, and then we got yellow thing, and then we got purple thing. And the other two are flex slots, apparently. One of them shows using that. Let's see. Still leaning mainly to if they do elites this time, then maybe ANET is revamping current weapons that classes already have, like, or to the least used weapon of each class. I think that'd be awesome and easier for balanced devs and budget. Yeah. Yeah. Like, I would say the Ranger least used one is probably Torch. Offhand Torch. They gave it a minor buff recently, which was one of the only buffs it's gotten in, like, the last 10 years. Soto did have Weapon Master. We should be open to the fact that we may not get a weapon with the least specs. Yeah, for sure. Also, they might add a weapon, but not in the way you think. Like, for example, when Firebrand equips their tomes, that changes the weapon in your hand. Bladesworn has the gun saber. That's a weapon, but it's not a weapon, you know? You know? Like, everybody, they didn't add new items called gun saber. They just got a button that draws it into their hand. So, like, maybe the gambler thingy, maybe they're going to have a button that's like, you know, you get your tarot out or something, and then you're going to have a deck of cards swirling around you, and your 1 through 5 are all cards. You know, the Ace of Hearts, King of Diamonds, or whatever. I don't know. So it could be something like that. Like, they could just make, like, an elite spec where F1 draws a weapon into your hand, but it's not like a new item. The Helmet Elite will transform to the character's head into fire. I don't know. I don't know. Dude, honestly, the Elite helmet with the wings, it made me think of, what's his name? Is it Dr. Fate? Where the helmet can fly around on its own. Like, the helmet just comes off and just starts headbutting people and then comes back to you. Speaking of changes to old things, when did Unyielding Impact happen? Demon Stance Jump, then does another pulse. I don't know. Not my main. I love card combos, like combos for FF14 Ninja. That sounds like Mutt got some info from Bobby. Sounds like my... Oh my god, no. No, I wish. No. Thief Spec will be Gambler, and you bet real gold to make it hit harder, and then the mob has a chance to draw more money. Or they could use kits for Bard or Gambler Spec. Yeah. The Unyielding Impact change was in the most recent balance patch, or Johnny says. Alright, there you go. Whoever asked about Unyielding Impact, that just recently got changed. There you go. Okay, let's see. This set's all play... Okay. Plague Doctor, according to Guild Harriers... and Minstrels and Givers and stuff according to Snowcrows. I mean, Plague Doctors is easier, so I'll just do that first. Let's see. And what is it? Scepter, Pistol, Dagger. Oh, crap. Do I have a Scepter on this guy? Okay, I do. So I'm going to have one item with the wrong stats. Scepter. Yeah, I don't have a legendary Scepter. Pistol. Unequip that. Dagger there. Okay. Let's see. Plague Doctor. Rune of Tormenting. Apply to all. And Plague Doctor on the stuff. Go with Valen, his builds are easier. I definitely find them easier to read. We'll see. Alright, Concentration on the main hand. But if I have any features about it that I don't like, then I'll look at the other one. And... Wait, what? Oh, no, I messed up. Plague Doctors on the weapon. And Demons on here. Okay, da-da, da-da, da-da. And then this needs Demons also. Okay, increased duration of Torment. Really? Torment? Okay, fine. That's fine. I don't know what I'm doing. I'll just copy that. Relic of Caracosa. No, that's Laura. Relic of Laura. +5 to backwards jumping puzzles. Heal other allies when you successfully combo a field with a blast finisher. Okay. Alright. And we got all this stuff. Okay. Alternatives. Minstrel or Ritualist gear can be used if preferred. Scorpion Wire instead of Well of Silence for more CC. Smokescreen instead of Well of Silence for projectile block. See, from what I understand, Bard is probably an elite spec, right? That's what we're assuming, yeah. Relic of Laura, Unleash 5 Scampy. Isn't there a full Selly one on Snowcrows? The Snowcrows one that I found was this one. Heal Specter. And it's Harriers and also Minstrels and one piece of Givers. Is the one that I saw on here. But I've got both open. I'll try one then the other. Let's see. Hold on, I want to change how this looks. Where's wardrobe? Knife. I'll just do like a basic looking one. Okay, and then the gun, the goofy gun. There we go. That one that's like ridiculous. Look at it, it's like clipping into the ground. Okay. Let's see. Imagine all the hype in there just to announce a class icon rework. Bard is elite spec for all professions. Muck broke NDA with the title of his stream. Yeah, I love that you guys think I know that much. All right. Where's the guide on how to play this thing? Okay. Let's start by reading the talents. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Shadow Arts. Heal when you enter or exit stealth. Stealth yourself and your target when reviving an ally. Grant a barrier and dark aura to nearby allies when you use a healing skill. Gain super speed when you enter or exit stealth. Gain dark aura when you steal, granting yourself dark aura heals nearby allies. Stealth attacks siphon health if they hit. When you steal, create a field around yourself that grants allies protection. Granting dark aura to yourself removes a condition from nearby allies. So when you steal, you get dark aura, and steal cures... Okay, so steal cures conditions. Okay. All right. I know you're trying to save yourself, but give us a hint on the next icons. Give you a hint on the next icon. The next one is a jester hat with the little bells on the ends. Guess who gets that? There you go. All right. Kleptomaniac. Stealing gives you initiative. When you steal, you and all nearby allies gain fury, might, and swiftness for 10 seconds. Dude. Imagine. Just use your imagination, chat. If tomorrow the icon was a jester hat, and then someone sends that clip to ArenaNet, and then they're like, who leaked it to Muck? And I'm just like, I swear I was just making stuff up. Like, honestly, it would be the worst thing in the world if I was right. I'm like, no, I don't want to be in trouble. Send it to John Anet, yeah. Stealing gives initiative. When you steal, you and all nearby allies gain fury, might, and swiftness for 10 seconds. What's the cooldown on steal? 11 seconds. That is a big freaking tooltip. Goodness gracious. Increase max initiative by 3. Gain increased expertise. Stealing grants you and all nearby allies vigor. You rip boons from your target and grant them to nearby allies. Grant additional boons to allies if your target has no boons. Vigor and might. Then they come for your kneecaps. Yup. I got you. You just keep this recorded so you could say it's not leaked, right? We got you. Exactly. New drama video. Mug leaks hot insider information revealing live about not having power over developers. Oh my god, dude. If I could show you how long I have to wait for a response on anything. Let's see. Bountiful thing. Okay, we just read that. Increases all damage dealt per initiative spent. Steal gains reduced recharge time. Okay. Alright. Sleight of hand. Stealing also dazes the target. Reduce the recharge of steal. Siphon. When used on an enemy target, slow, steals 3 boons, daze, fury, might, swiftness, vigor, and additional might to the team. 2 initiative, Shadow Force gain 25. If you use it on an ally, grant your target barrier and reduce the cooldown of Siphon. If you're in Shroud, transfer your tether to the target. 1700 barrier, some dark aura. Okay, I'm guessing you'd mostly use this on enemies for boons? I'm not sure. Just Steel Monk? Yeah. Second Opinion. A portion of condition damage is converted to healing power. Gain Condi damage, which is increased when wielding a scepter. Okay. And then, alright, that's what Valen says to use. Snowcrow says this one. Gain stacks of consumed shadows at regular intervals while in Shadow Shroud. Exiting Shadow Shroud consumes the remaining Shadow Force and heals allies based on the number of stacks you have gained. Allies that are fully healed receive the rest of the Valiant Barrier. Oh, I remember that one too. Okay, so this is flat stats. This is a big heal/barrier when you leave Shroud. And you can take either one of these, apparently. Apply Rotwall of Venom to allies that you grant barrier to. Outgoing healing to allies is increased. Traversing Dusk. Heal allies in the area around you when you Shadow Step. Gain Shadow Force for each ally in the radius. Wells grant resistance on their initial impact. Okay. So that makes any of these 3 do a heal because all these are Shadow Steps. Alright. Gain barrier when you strike foes with a stealth attack. When you apply stealth to allies, you also grant them barrier. But doesn't that turn their attacks off? That was like one of the original issues with it. Gain barrier when you strike foes with a stealth attack. Unless they changed it, if they fixed it at some point. Shadow Shade Step, Shadow Shroud skills also provide additional support effects to nearby allies and your tethered ally. Don't stealth people? Yeah, I was not thinking so. This is important. Plague Doctors gives you Condi damage. If you take the first trait, you use Plague Doctors. If S. Snooker says you take the third, you take Carriers. Yeah, that makes sense. Hey, Mug and Chat, did you have a video which explains Condi versus power damage and how it scales? I don't have a video on it, but I can give you a TLDR real quick. So, alright, so quick, you know, noob guide to Condi versus power, okay? Condition damage is damage over time, dot. So burning, bleeding, poison, torments, etc. Alright? Power is, punch him in the face. Instant damage. Okay? The TLDR, power hits their armor. Okay? Condi, doesn't hit armor. Okay? On an enemy with 0 armor, power hits more. Enemy with lots of armor, Condi hits more. That's it. I will tell you, nearly every fight in the game, you could beat it with a full team of power DPS or a full team of Condi DPS. There's very few exceptions to that. However, you might find a fight a tiny bit faster with Condi or power, depending on the situation, because different bosses have different amounts of armor. So, like, one boss might have 30% damage reduction from armor. Another boss might have 10, you know? And it's really not shown in-game. You kind of just have to figure it out or, you know, use community websites where other people have figured it out. You don't really know if the enemy has big armor or not. Yeah, you don't really know. So, another thing is if the boss has phases, they often clear all debuffs off themselves when they phase. Not always, but often. When this happens, condition damage dealers have to rebuild up their debuffs on the target and ramp back up. Now, some Condi damage dealers ramp up extremely fast, and others take longer. So, depends. Some bosses considered structures and take away more damage from power. Yeah. Yep. But that's the gist of it. That is the gist of it. But again, I really want to stress this out. You should not ever go to a fight and like look at somebody else and be like, oh, you brought Condi to this one? Oh, you're stupid. You didn't read the blog. Now, it's 99.9% of the fights in the game, you could clear with a full power team or a full Condi team. It's just if you're using the wrong one, it might take an extra minute or two. That's it. The exception, like one of the exceptions, is Veiled Guardian. Veiled Guardian, there's an ad that spawns that takes 99% reduced damage from power or something like that. Or maybe even 100. And you basically have 1 or 2 people that are Condi kill that ad. That's one of the only times you really need to have a Condi person there. Does the blue bar affect armor and defense? Not that I know of. If it does, I've never heard that. I do feel like after breaking bar, I do more damage. Yes. So, okay, hold on. So, cause when you CC break something, and you have just broken that blue bar, it takes drastically increased damage from literally everything until their debuff, they get a debuff when you break the bar. And as long as that debuff's there, which might be a few seconds, they take drastically increased damage from all sources. So dots that are already on the target jump up in damage and start ticking really hard. Your direct damage starts hitting really hard. Like, that's when you would pop cooldowns. Yes, it's called exposed. The debuff is called exposed. Yes. But just the bar being there, like when you haven't broken it yet, no, that doesn't make them more armored. WTF was that voice? It's, that was me doing an impression. What you're saying is raids were a mistake? No. I was only 10 hours decorating my homestead yesterday. I was going to work on New Orleans Leggy, like, why brain? I thought it'd be a good thing for that guy, too, if there was ever sweet power and Continental exposed, too. No, they both do more. Like, for example, Ranger, the hardest hitting move, one of the hardest hitting moves in the Ranger kit is Axe 5. And what you want to do is essentially get the target CC bar to be about to break, pop all your cooldowns, then use Axe 5, and you'll hit for like 500,000 damage. You know? So Ranger, it's you know, not that they do 50k all the time. It's like maybe they do 30k most of the time, and then when they can do that big hit, it's just stupid. But you've got to like line up all the windows. So I can build up and play a build with 0 power damage and only Condi damage expertise, Condi duration, can Condi damage crit. Most builds that have, okay, not all, but many classes have a trait that will convert precision to condition damage. So if you have that trait, like for Necromancer, it's in the Curses tree, I think. But if you have a trait like that, then you can get some precision on your gear and it won't be wasted. But for the most part, as you said, if you're going Condi, you just get Condi damage and expertise. Okay, let's see. What do we got here? All right, let's look through our utilities now. So we got Well of Gloom, Shadow Step to the target location, drop a well that cripples foes and heals allies. So, boop. And then Well of Bounty, Shadow Step to a target location, create a well that grants boons to allies. So it does stability, and then it does all the other stuff. Okay. Well of Silence, Shadow Step to the target area and lay down a well that removes condis from allies. Gain Shadow Force for each condition removed. The first strike of the well dazes foes. Okay. Shadow Refuge, create a pulsing refuge at the target area that heals allies and cloaks them in stealth. And then it also does barrier too, right? When you apply stealth to allies, you also grant them barrier. But if you stealth allies, it will turn off their attack, I think. Thanks a lot. Sure. Condi builds can still care about the power component of their skills, but less than the Condi part. Well, yeah, of course. Yeah. Like, if you have someone who's full Condi damage, and you look at the breakdown of their damage output, there's still going to be a small percentage of their damage coming from power. As, you know, they throw a poison knife at the enemy, the knife still did some damage, then the poison did more. Please don't use Shadow Refuge. I'm learning! Hang on. What are the other options? Let's see. Skill notes. Shadow Step doubles as utility for mechanics and insta-cast healing. Shadow Portal for portal. Prepare Seal area can destroy incoming projectiles, as well as additional Dark Combo Field. Signet of Agility for condition removal source. Prepare Pitfall for additional 300 Defiance Break. Basilisk Venom. Shadowfall for an area pull. Signet of Shadows for trait synergies. Also helps stack vulnerability. What build are you looking at? I'm looking at Heal Specter. I've got the Guild Gen and also the Snow Crow's guides up on my other monitor. And I'm looking at how they set it up. Hang on, how does this work? Create seal, blocks projectiles, and prevents enemies from entering or leaving. So that's it. So they can make a bubble to block projectiles, but it has a 3-second arming time. But you could precast it, so it's cooling down after that. Your last video about it told me not to play it. Yeah, but that was quite some time ago. Check meta battle. Meta battle goes to... I haven't been to meta battle in a long time. Let's see. Raids and Strike. Let's see. Thief. Dagger Pistol. Or Specter. Condi Specter. Condi Axe. Fractal. Alacrity Support Specter. Is this the heal one? Yeah. So, okay, they're using what I'm using, but they're also using Blinding Powder. which also stealths nearby allies. And they're using Scepter Pistol, Sword Pistol. Why are you using Sword? Smoke screen is go-to for blocking projectiles. Smoke screen. Let's see. Create a smoke screen that blocks missiles and blinds foes. 7 seconds. You really realistically don't need to use blinding powder. I'll try smoke screen for now. Sword is good for teleporting, shadow stepping. It can build shadow force and heal a lot. Let's look at the traits. Okay, so they've got the Snow Crow's trait here. All right. Okay, hang on. Let's move ahead to like how to play this thing. Let's see. Okay. Thief build for group content with amazing barrier and boon generation to protect allies while also giving decent healing and supplemental damage over time with Torment. Uses the Dark Aura mechanic to heal while also having a simple playstyle that repetitively uses same skill. When using the Siphon, F1, the heal skill, or using a blast finisher in a dark field, you generate Dark Aura, which heals and cleanses allies. You can constantly create these using the dark fields created by your wells and by using Siphon, then using Scepter 2 to blast it. This will also give protection and barrier in the process, meaning you give most of the protective benefits of your build just by creating dark fields and spamming Scepter 2 in them. Also, keep Alacrity on your allies by using Shroud 2 as often as possible. Shadow Shroud can be gained easily by using Wells or the Scepter/Pistol 3 to stay in Shroud long enough to get all the other benefits such as the stability and Aegis from Shroud 5 and the huge heal for allies when leaving Shroud. Okay, so spawn a golem. Average, spawn golem. And give me quickness to simulate being with someone who gives quickness. I'm happy you enjoyed your time in Ravenswatch. Hope to see you play more characters in the future. Yeah, it was fun. It felt kind of short. I wish there was more story to it, kind of like Hades, but it was fun. All right, so it says start the fight by entering Shroud. How? I don't start with any Shroud juice. Why did I just teleport? What? Oh my god! Did you see that? The 3 was set to autocast. I'm like, why am I teleporting backwards constantly? What's happening? Ah! Okay, I don't know why that was set up that way. Alright, there's that. Oh, that turns my attack off. Oh my god. We're doing this again. Alright. Inner Shroud. What's the 2? 2 is Alacrity. And then 4. And then 5. And then 3. And then F1. And then 2. And then leave Shroud. And then Well. Scepter 2. 2. 2. And then Well. 2. 2. 2. I didn't have enough for the third one. Repeat. Alright, I want to read these. Unleash darkness in an area, inflicting Condi on foes and cleansing allies. Cleanse conditions for yourself while healing and cleansing your tethered ally based on target struck. If you don't have a tethered ally, does it just come from you? Does anybody know? 4, strike at foes in front of you with a shadow magic inflicting conditions. Nearby allies and your tethered ally gain health for each ally struck. It'll just randomly select a nearby ally? Okay. 5, after a short channel, unleash a blast of compressed magic that stuns enemies. Nearby allies, your tethered ally gains stability. Heal your tethered ally based on damage you hit. 3, leave to target area, inflict fear at the endpoint, grant barrier to a talented ally. Yellow Well's your priority well for boons. I want to confirm something. So the Yellow Well and Shroud 5 are the 2 things that give stability, and we're spamming both of them off cooldown, so we don't have stability on demand. Is that accurate? I hope not. Because I haven't seen any other sources of stab so far. Blue is good for burst heals, purple's for Connie cleanse. I always focus yellow well and generally save the others for when needed or when I need to fill Shroud ASAP. Save Shroud 5 for when you need it. What is the title? It's just a joke class. 3 was on autocast from PP Unload? Probably, Save Shroud 5 for when you need it. Okay. Inner Shroud 2, 4, 3, F1, 2. Alright. Well, 2, 2, 2. And then that. 2, 2. Not enough initiative. Use yellow off cooldown. Yellow should alone give you like 60 plus stab uptime. Two, 4, 3, F1, 2. Okay, is the boost level 80 gear good to keep until I can get a legendary? It has Selly stats on it, I think. Yeah, it's not bad. It's all round gear. You know, it's good at everything. It's not insane at any one thing. Yeah, it's not bad. It's soldier stats. Pretty sure they replaced soldier with Selly on the boost gear like some time ago. Alright, so that was the rotation. Let's see, CC is Shroud 3, Shroud 5, Pistol 4, Basilisk Venom, F1. So we're like never using the offhand? I guess the Pistol 4 is just for CC. What is the dagger for? If an ally goes down, you can use Shadow Refuge on them for a fast revive, and it also gives a Dark Field. Shadow Refuge. I don't see anything on it about reviving. Do I have a trait that makes it revive faster? It's just the healing that it pulses a little helps with the revive. Normal healing doesn't hit people in downstate. Like, it has to specifically say it does revive percentage for it to help in downstate, unless there's just something wrong with this tooltip. Let's see. Mechanics. This skill pulses upon activation and each second thereafter. Each pulse affects 5 targets and extends the stealth by 3 seconds of PvE and heals for 355. Each pulse revives up to 5 downed allies by 5% per pulse up to 25%. Okay, so if you have this on the bar, it's a revive tool. Dude, what? Okay, freaking fix this tooltip. I've been on this class for 5 seconds and I've already seen the freaking it's broken. Fix this. Okay, so the tooltip just doesn't say anything about the revive. All right. Let's see. Okay, so we're pretty much never using our offhand, really? We're just using the 3 from Specter Pistol. I like how it goes off the top of my monitor as well. Throw attack at the cripples enemies, returns to you. Start feeling stuff, leaving them vulnerable. What do you think about the last teaser? I did a video on it yesterday, if you're interested. All my thoughts are in that. Pistol 4 is huge CC, yeah. I mean, I think for huge CC, the first thing you reach for is Basilisk Venom. All right, let's read. So far I've been reading how Valen does it. Let's see how Snowcrows does it. Example opener. Okay, hold on a second. Let me read this. Many abilities in Heal Specter's kit serve multiple purposes at the same time and are very accessible thanks to initiative and low cooldowns. Therefore, to maximize potential, it's best to always cycle through your skills and resources proactively. Shadow Shroud should be frequently entered for healing and alacrity. Your initiative skills should be used liberally while outside of Shadow Shroud. This playstyle will guarantee you have a constant flow of boons, barrier, and sustained healing, while still having plenty of tools to deal with emergencies. Listed below are some opener and loop examples. Opener example, it says, let's see, Well of Bounty, 2, Enter Shadow Shroud, Grasping Shadows, Siphon, 4 Haunt Shots, Grasping Shadows, Exit Shadow Shroud. Really? They hardly did anything in the Shroud. Use Well of Bounty off cooldown. Shadow Sap. Shadow Sap. Shadow Sap. Enter Shroud, Shroud Loop. Shroud Loop is 2. 1, 1, 1, 1, 2. Leave Shroud. Okay. So all Snowcrows does in Shroud is the 2 auto 2 leave. And then Specter, let's see, allied targeted measured shot into Endless Night. What the hell is Endless Night? Does that skill flip over? Oh, Jesus. Hang on. Snowcrows doesn't have the numbers. They have the name, so I gotta find the name. It flips over. Okay. Grant your target barrier and boons. Effectiveness reduced for allies that are not the primary target. So I have to swap targeting for that. Can you play Specter effectively by either only targeting the enemy or only targeting allies without having to swap back and forth? Like, honest question. That was one of the things I disliked about it the last time I tried it. You can only target the enemy and spam 2. Okay. So Well of Bounty off cooldown. 3 Shadow Saps for the combos. Inner Shadow Shroud. So Well of Bounty off cooldown. Alright. So, let's see. Well of Bounty. Shadow Sap. Go into this. 2. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do that. The number of Shroud autos doesn't matter, they're just filler for the 2 cooldown. Yeah, I gotcha. What boons are falling off right now? I think I'm not using steel enough. I'm going to try to fix that. Okay, that's looking much better now on the boons. Thief can out solo quick. No. I'm getting the quickness from the console just for testing this. Alright. I think I've got this down for keeping the boons up. Alright, so Alack, Regen, Swiftness, Fury, Prot, Vigor, 25 Might, we're keeping up. The Quickness we are getting from the console. So I think I understand now keeping the boons up. That's good. The question now is all these other buttons and when to use them. So I was able to do that just with Well of Bounty. So Well of Gloom, I use that, I guess, when more healing is needed. Well of Silence, I use that when CC or condition cleansing is... Wait, hold on, what? Lay down a well that removes conditions from allies. But then the tooltip says nothing about how much condition removal it does. You mother muckers. Okay, so this tooltip doesn't say how many conditions it cures. It says number of impacts, number of targets. I'm assuming 1 Condi cleanse per pulse, but that's a guess. It doesn't say. Schmucks. Alright, so Well of Silence doesn't say how many conditions it cures. Shadow Refuge doesn't say that it helps with revive. Okay. Let's see. Oh, hang on. Someone just messaged me about the guild. Let's see. The C stands for convenient. Yeah. Good morning, Muck and Chat. Hi, Tiny. All right. Okay, so other things. All right, so I got other things to learn here. One, I did all of that only targeting the enemy. If that's fine, then great. 2, I never stealthed a teammate, so I just saved Shadow Refuge for if I need to revive someone who's downstate, I guess. Let's see. Scepter 3 on an enemy... I mean, I guess I would probably never use this. So 4 is CC, and I'll probably never use the 3 or the 5. Let's see. Twilight combo with the dagger. 4 is cripple and return to you. 5 is stab your foe and vanish in stealth, leaving them vulnerable. Okay. So I don't know when I would ever use the dagger currently. So I understand each of these tools and when I would use them. First steal goes to an ally, then spam it on the boss. What? But that gives most of my opening boons. Why would you do that? Hold on, I'm looking at the guides to see if I missed something. Precast F1 on anyone before the fight. Why? But then you can't give everyone boons at the start of the fight. Your first F1 marks someone as your buddy. The thing is, okay, usually if I'm in a DPS people are really stupid. I feel like whoever I mark is going to inevitably run off and then all my heals aren't hitting the group. I'd rather not have anyone marked. I'd rather have me marked. I would rather just have the heals come from me. I don't trust you guys to be like where my heals are aimed. Dagger is good for Invis 5 and using your stealth attack on an ally for revive. Otherwise, in this setup, it's not really needed. If there is someone specific you want to be tethered, sure, but it really doesn't matter if it picks someone randomly if you didn't. Yeah, I'll just have it heal someone near me. That's fine. You and the linked ally are both pulsing? Maybe I'll do the other healer. We'll see. Okay. So 4 is CC, 5 is, say, blind your powder and your... Blinding your target and nearby foes with smoke. That's a blind. Okay. So I guess a dagger, I mean, I could go stealth with it. I don't know what I would do with that. Are the poems for Chinese social media being posted yet? Yeah, there was one. The one from yesterday's picture was like cutting through the wind and the waves, which made me think of a boat. I don't know what to do with that information. Either the other healer or the boon DPS, yeah. Stealth attack heals a lot if you target someone specific. Replace dagger with spear. I think the scepter's doing a lot of the support. I think that needs to stay in hand. I don't know about swapping it with spear. Let's see. I want to change this. I'm already tired of that graphic. There we go. Little crossbow. That's very thiefy. Little crossbow. The icon, it's a whale. It's an icon only for us that spend over 1,000 in the game. The 3 of Scepter Dagger is the DPS move of Specter. I don't know why that would they put that on a healer. You know, I'm looking. It looks like Valen's guide, the Guild Gen guide, is the one that's got Scepter Pistol and Scepter Dagger. The Snowcrow's guide is Scepter Pistol and Scepter Pistol. But one of the pistols has Transference, and the other pistol has Paralyzation. Okay. Alright. So, let's see. Remove current golem. Respawn. Alright, so running in here. One sec. Alright, so let's see, and then doot. Alright, so I think I got those boons up pretty quick. Question for the Spectermans. Okay. How can I phrase this? All right. If you're an engineer and you're in grenade kit and you start to throw a grenade and you leave the grenade kit, it will finish throwing the grenade while you're already pressing something else. Can I start pressing a button in Shroud, drop Shroud, and it will finish? Like, A, it will finish, or B, it'll get interrupted? Does anybody know? I'm wondering, like, how tightly I can do this rotation. What is this blasphemy? Someone playing Thief and it's not PP Unload? Funny enough, Cal, well, I still had my 3 set to auto attack from PP Unload, and when I started fighting, I was really confused why I kept teleporting backward. You're asking if there's animation cancel. That is the term. Let's see. Couple of people said, yes, you can finish it, so. Alright. So if I do. It looks like, yeah, it looks like that finishes. Okay. Alright. I think I get it. I think I get it. There's a very tiny amount of... Wait, do we have Aegis? Hold on a sec. Is there any Aegis in this? Now, it's not mandatory. Not every support has Aegis. Shroud 5. So Shroud 5 is our Aegis and our stability. So if we ever need Aegis and stability and Shroud's on cooldown, we don't have access to it. I don't like that. I know it's got a short cooldown. There's probably like a 50-50 chance it'll be available, but still. I don't like that it's not accessible. I haven't played Spectre in so long. It was spamming wells for quickness, if I recall. Did they still have that? Alacrity, not quickness. And they do use one well on cooldown, but they can save the others. 2 and 5 can be casted and switched, but the rest kind of get canceled. Okay, but if you end your Shroud on a 2 and leave, it'll finish. That's my concern. You know the encounters muck you'll manage? I know. It's personal preference, right? Right? It's just something I like in a support. Like, my favorite thing is when the stability is like on a button over here, so it's always accessible to you. Like, for example, like in Druid, when they moved Alacrity into Astral form, like for me, that was like a big drop in enjoyment factor. So, it's basically Dragon's Tooth, so you can even combo it when it lands. We only need one now. I was thinking when I was like spam all wells for Alac till all the wells come off cooldown, do damage and Shroud. That was easy but boring. You can delay the yellow well for stability. Yeah. And that's basically it. You would either slightly delay yellow well or slightly delay going in Shroud to have this stability accessible. Okay. Alright. Alright, so one thing I've not been looking at, let me respawn. We're in Plague Doctor's gear, which is like some damage, some healing. Let's see. I mean, it's not a lot of damage. There's some. That's 4 druids right there. Yeah, druid typically does 1 to 2k. 4k in rare weird situations. I love how angry he looks when he's slamming the ground with the Scepter 2 spam. I don't know why, but I enjoy that. Take the freaking barrier! Stay in the group, I hate you! Okay. Alright, so we got the boons. We're doing a little bit of damage. We're pumping out some healing, some cleansing, some barrier. Alright. Let me look at the other Shroud skills. Because right now, in my head, I don't know what all the Shroud buttons do, other than I'm using the 2 for Alacrity. Alright, so 3 is leap to a targeted area, fear foe... Okay, so 3 is a CC. Grant barrier to your tethered ally and nearby allies based on targets struck. Heal your tethered ally based on targets struck. Okay, so 3 is some healing and barrier. How did you come up with your name? You know, I've been asked that before. Right there is a video that explains where my name came from. Okay, let's see. 4, strike at foes in front of you with shadow magic, inflicting condies, nearby allies, and your tethered ally gain health for each enemy struck. Okay, so 3 does some barrier, 4 does some healing, 5, after a short channel, unleash a blast of compressed magic that stuns enemies and nearby allies, and your tethered ally gains stab. Heal your tethered ally based on each enemy you hit. So 3 and 5 are CC, 3 is barrier, 4 and 5 are healing. Okay. So, if I need more healing / barrier to keep the people alive, I can just kind of face roll 3 through 5 anytime I go into Shroud, it feels like. That's what it seems like. Cross says, yup. But 4 is enough. 4 is enough. Okay. Alright. Okay. Let's do a couple things. Adjust... Wait, nope, wrong thing. Adjust environment. Pulsing arena damage. Moderate. Alright. Okay. Alright, so far this is fine. So far, moderate damage field. Totally fine with my current skill level. Not having any problems here. And I'm not even having to use the heals, like, on cooldown. Alright, cool. So that's no problem. Now, moderate is typically enough for just about any content in the game. Beyond that, it's typically just using your utilities when they need to be used. But let's turn it up to extreme just to see what happens. There's a blog post that just came out. Ooh, is there? Let's see. When was this posted? Today? Oh my gosh. Dude, I thought I would not have to wait. Wait. What the hell is this? That is an Asura Ritualist. And that's a Muckin Angel. Or Paragon? That might be a Paragon. That looks like a, that is absolutely a Ritualist. That's the Ritualist outfit. The head thing with the beads and all that. It's Tyrael. Oh my god, it's Tyrael. Yes, collab with Diablo confirmed. Holy crap. That is something. Necro Writ. I will say green magic is often associated with necromancy. And that's like gold, right? That would be warrior, I think. And that looks like a sun spear, too. That's The Rock. Yeah, that's Dwayne The Rock Johnson. Yes, new class, Dwayne. Woo! Okay. Here's the teaser for your troubles. Oh my gosh. Necro is always green Asura for all the elites. Yep. Oh man, oh man, oh man. Noxxi's gonna be going crazy over that. Alright, real quick. Let's see what I can do here. Okay, actually starting to hurt a bit here. Oh my god, I'm panicking. All the wells! It hurts! I will say I'm already doing better than the other day when I tried, oh god, what was it? One of the Tempest builds, I tried to do this damage field and I just died in like 3 seconds. Okay. Alright, I don't know if I could sit in extreme damage forever, but I can for quite a while, which is pretty freaking nice, and I am in Plague Doctor's gear. That is pretty good. You heal a lot more allies, of course, yeah. So, honestly, the fact that, like, because again, I'm a noob at this, and I recognize that, and I can already survive in extreme damage for a while and keep the boons up, that's pretty solid. That is pretty freaking solid. So, I think I'll keep this. And I'm not going to use this on rotation because I know it messes with allies. I'm just going to save this for, like, emergency revives. And then, what else was I told? I was told that I could also use Scorpion Wire if I need more CC. What were some of the other things that they said you could swap in if you want them? Signet of Agility for more Condi removal. Wait, seal area or smoke? Oh, that's right. For the so like for Dagda, what was it? You take like smoke screen to block the missiles, like that. Okay. Do you see the new dev post of yours 2 devs? Yeah, we were looking at it just a minute ago. Yeah, need to go over it in detail. Roll for initiative is a fun utility. Okay. Alright, so we got 2 things. How exciting. We got 2 things to do now, chat. 1 is I want to try this in strikes. 2, we need to go over this new dev post. So, I am going to go to Mistlock for a second. Shadow Step for utility, question mark with talent, traversing dusk, extra range heal, and also mobility. Wait, what? Hold on, I'll need to read that. I certainly don't have these talents memorized yet. Traversing dusk. Where's that? Oh, here it is. Heal allies in the area around you when you Shadow Step. Gain Shadow Force for each ally in the radius. Wells grant resistance on their initial impact. How do you know what buttons to press and when? I'm reading a guide on my other screen. So it's essentially, anytime you play a build, it often comes down to like finding a few little rules, right? So for this one, you're using F1 almost every time it lights up. Okay? That's one thing down. Then, I'm using Well of Bounty almost every time it lights up. Then, anytime we use Well of Bounty, we use the 2 button while standing in the well 3 times. Okay? So that when it lights up, that when it lights up, and when we do that, we hit 2, 3 times. Okay? And then you just keep adding one more thing until you've learned the build. But that's essentially it. Okay. So, let's... Oh my god, we have got something juicy. I'm more interested in this teaser at the end than the actual blog post. Let's see. Hi, Mug. I'm thinking of returning yours too, but every time I return, I hit the same problem. I do main 1 character. I figure out it's not as good as for XYZ, and then second class I have is good for ZY, but not X, but third is good for XZ, but not Y. What would you do in my stead? Keep up the great streams. Hello, Fracky. Okay, so first of all, there's nothing wrong with liking multiple characters for different things. Guild Wars 2 is very alt-aholic friendly. You know, they've got the whole wallet system in this game, where like if you go into your wallet, all of this is shared across all your characters. You know, all of these currencies you can earn on any character, and all your toons can access them, right? So it is very friendly for people. Like, I've had times in the past where I loved playing my Rangers DPS, my Necromancer when I was healing groups, and my Engineer when I PvP'd. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. If you do want to be like, I want to love one class, and then I use that one thing for everything, that's fine, but you still might not use the same build for everything, right? Like, if I'm just playing Ranger, my most played class, I might play Druid Heal in PvE, but I might enjoy Untamed and, you know, just playing like that in PvP, and I might enjoy Soul Beast when I'm, you know, just in the open world, you know? Even if you play one character, you might have different builds for different occasions, and again, that's okay too. Like, I do a lot of comparison of support builds, just because that's my favorite playstyle. And every support has different pros and cons that the others don't have. Mechanist, extremely easy to play, very high damage for a support, very unga bunga, no revive potential at all, cannot save its teammates. Untamed, stellar healing, good damage as well, great boons, doesn't have stability on demand. Warrior, it's a warrior, and that's very sad. You know, there's a lot of things that some classes can do that others can't, and you just have to pick and choose. Like, okay, well, this one has most of the things that I like, but, you know, none of them have everything. So you just have to figure it out. Do you have an add-ons list? Kind of. Hang on a sec. Exclamation add-ons. That right there is a list of add-ons I've made guides for. Okay. Thank you for the explaining, and you chat for answer too. Sure. Okay. Let's see. All right, let's do a couple things here, chat. I'm going to turn... I'm going to pause the alert, so anything you do goes into a queue. Mike, what's your rank, lower, Guardian, or Warrior? I mean, it depends on the... like, what are we ranking? like, utility, my love for the class, the community's love for the class. ArenaNet's love for the class Guardian wins versus everybody. All right, here we go. Hang on a second. All right, hello Guild Wars 2 gamers, Mukluk here. I did not think we would be doing a news video for the game today, but here we are. It is Tuesday, July 8th, and I predicted recently that we would have another class teaser, our Elite Spec teaser, every day this week except Tuesday, because that's what they did last week with the exception of the 4th of July holiday. However, they released a blog post today with one hell of a teaser at the end of it. I'm more excited to tell you about the teaser at the end of it than I am the blog post itself, but we're going to go through the whole thing. So here it is, and as always, the link will be in the description down below if you just want to read it yourself. So, from the beginning, from the wilds to what's next by the Guild Wars 2 team on July 8th, 2025. Hey Guild Wars community! With the final content update for Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds now live, we've officially wrapped up our 5th expansion, which is the second built under the annual release model that we introduced in early 2023. Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds tested how we tell stories, evolve systems, and deliver meaningful updates on a faster, more consistent schedule. Some things landed well, others not so much. Just like we did after Guild Wars 2 Secrets of the Obscure, and that's presumably a link to it, we've been listening to your feedback and acting on it. In this blog, we'll share how those lessons are shaping our next expansion and the changes that you can expect to see. This will give you helpful context as we unveil our next expansion next week. Oh boy! Now, I'll remind everybody that the previous 2 years, the expansions came out, I believe, in August, because it was right around my birthday. Then they said this year they needed more time, which, personally, anytime a game dev says they need more time, I'm like, okay. You know, unless I've like prepaid and there was like a major expectation or something. We're usually like, okay, I would rather wait for a better product than have a day one that's just, you know, on fire. So they said they needed more time. So this next expansion wasn't going to be August. It was looking at October. So that was something that they said. And then, so I guess it's getting unveiled next week. So, charting Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds legacy. Over the past 9 months, Janthier Wilds brought a wide range of new experiences to Tyria. Across 19 story chapters and 4 new open-world maps, the narrative explored the aftermath of the Elder Dragon era through a more grounded and political lens. Your choices helped shape the balance of power in a world learning to live without that existential threat and uncovered ancient secrets best left buried. We brought spears to land combat, our first new terrestrial weapon type since the game's launch, along with a new set of relics that deepened build crafting and expanded playstyle customization. Our endgame offerings grew as well. You took on the game's first new raid in over 5 years, complete with challenge and legendary modes. We also introduced a new convergence encounter and a fractal dungeon with its own challenge mode, adding more variety and goals for PvE-focused players. And then there's a picture of the homestead here. Def Lahar, fishing, I guess. Let's see. Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds also marked the arrival of homesteads, a major feature that brought player housing to the game. Actually, you know what? I'm looking at the background here. This is not the homestead. This is a different location. Ignore me. That was paired with a rework of the decoration system, updates to the Warclaw mount, 2 new legendaries, tons of new armor and weapon sets, Wizard's Vault refreshes, and a long list of quality of life upgrades. Casually skips over the pic before the homestead. Well, we've seen this one before. This picture, I'm pretty sure, is on the shop page for buying Janthier Wilds and has been there for 9 months. But yes, cute picture. In PvP, we built something new with your help. The Pish game mode began as a prototype and evolved through multiple public betas, shaped directly by player feedback. Co-developing a competitive mode in a live environment is rare, and we're proud of what it represents. The final version launches later this summer, and we hope it sets a precedent for future community-driven efforts. For one, I've mentioned this in past videos, I really enjoy Push. I enjoy playing support builds often, and Push is a game mode that draws all the players on the map to one location, which means constant team fighting, which means people like myself that enjoy a team fight type of gameplay get to experience that more often. Whereas if you're on Conquest, they're more sporadic because, you know, people might be spread all over the map. So I really liked it. So I'm happy to see that happen, and I'm looking forward to it coming out so I can play it some more. Guild Wars 2 Janthier Wilds delivered a lot in a short amount of time. The momentum was only possible because of your passion, creativity, and honest feedback. Finding the right rhythm. Guild Wars 2 Janther Wilds launched in August of last year, followed by 3 quarterly updates. After the first of those updates arrived November 2024, we heard consistent feedback from the community. The additional story content felt too short. The lack of new open world map made the update feel noticeably light. Similar reactions to story scope followed the second and third releases, signaling that the pacing and structure of these releases could better align with your expectations. All right, so let's pause here for a second here. Obviously, I'm a Guild Wars 2 content creator. I love Guild Wars 2 as a game. It's not perfect. Even in my eyes, it's not perfect. It is the closest to perfection of any MMO on the market that I have tried for me. Love it to bits. Even I'll say that I found the, like, if I was grading Soto and Janther Wilds on features, right? Like the raids, the strikes, the new stuff for builds, like spears, expanded weapon proficiencies, weapon master specializations, homesteads, all that stuff. If I'm just like, I'm doing a 1 to 10, I'm grading everything 1 to 10, story in both Soto and Janther would be the lowest for me. Like, I totally say that they're worth the purchase, and I love all the features that they brought to the game, but the story, for me, was the most disappointing part of them. Let's keep reading. For our next expansion, we're refining that structure to give each update more depth and impact. The first quarterly release after the expansion's launch will not include new story or map content. Instead, it will focus on updates to core systems and long-standing features. Oh my god, they're going to fix the Zaitan fight. For legal reasons, that was a joke. This approach gives us the space to revisit foundational elements of the game, improvements that support the long-term health of Guild Wars 2, and reflect the design philosophy outlined in the Build Smarter, Not Bigger section below. And then there's a picture of, you barely even see him, there's a little dude right here. All right. By focusing on story and map development in the second and third quarterly updates, we're able to make those releases more robust and satisfying. Each will produce a larger, more content-rich map and longer, more fully developed story than what players saw in the equivalent Guild Wars 2 Janther Wilds updates. While the total amount of story content across the expansion is increasing modestly, the bigger benefit is how much more meaningful each individual release will feel, along with the scope improvements to the open world maps. This approach allows for more complete and satisfying story arcs, and it results in a net increase in total content delivered over the course of the expansion. Okay. All right. So, TLDR. When Janther came out, at the 3-month marker, 6-month marker, and 9-month marker, there was a bunch of new content. But a lot of us, self-included, felt that some of that content was pretty shallow. For me, it was the story. For some of you, it might have been a different feature. And so they're saying, okay, we're going to try something different on the next one. On the next one, at the 3-month update, we're not going to be doing like story and map stuff. We're going to keep cooking and hopefully have something that you really, really like at the 6-month update. And then the 3-month update will instead have just a big sweeping amount of quality of life stuff. And I'm okay with that. The way that I look at it is, okay, I tried what they were doing before, which was they're trying to churn something out every 3 months. We just tried that twice, and I wasn't satisfied with it. So I'm happy to let them try this, let them cook, and see what happens. That's my view on it. All right, building smarter, not bigger. One of our biggest priorities right now, and likely for years to come, is untangling years of accumulated system complexity. This means streamlining overlapping features, reducing technical debt, and reinforcing what makes Guild Wars 2 shine. This complexity doesn't just slow us down behind the scenes, it also makes onboarding harder for new and returning players, even in areas designed for seasoned adventurers like endgame PvE. Over the past 2 expansions, we've shifted away from stacking new systems on top of old ones. Instead, we're focusing on sustainable upgrades to the game's foundation. Features like the Wizard's Vault didn't just offer something new. They've replaced daily achievements and login rewards with a streamlined modern alternative. Weapon Master training and relics were built to expand existing build systems. Homesteads and the decoration system overhaul also improved guild halls. We've also updated core mount systems during both expansions, with refinements to the Sky Scale in Guild Wars 2 Soto and improvements to the Warclaw in Enchanted Wilds. Each change was designed to strengthen features that you already use and love. And house. Support for newly introduced features doesn't end at launch. Since Homestead's feature debuted, we've continued to expand and refine the system with new decorations and quality of life improvements, including an increase to the overall decoration cap in the final Guild Wars 2 Enchanted Wilds Absolution. Yeah, dude, the decoration cap is so funny. Like, I understand the need for a decoration cap, right? Every item that every player parks somewhere, they have to save it on their server somewhere. But it was so funny, like, some people were like, the decoration cap is too small. It's only 1,000. I've already used it up. And I'm like, how much did you build? And they're just like, I just finished my kitchen. What? You placed 1,000 items in the kitchen? And they're like, it's a very detailed kitchen. I'm like, oh boy, like, I'm gonna lag in your homestead. All right. In our upcoming July 15th release, we're doubling the decoration limit from 200 to 400. This directly addresses one of the most common requests we've heard from you. You can also expect to see continued support from the Homesteads feature in our next expansion as we build on the foundation. These kinds of changes may not always grab headlines, but they make the game easier to understand, easier to maintain, and more enjoyable to play. Just as importantly, they reflect what many of you have asked us to do, focus less on introducing entirely new systems, and more on refining and modernizing what we already have. That's a direction we believe in, and one we're proud to continue as we build the next chapter of Guild Wars 2. Alright, I like the sound of it. New tricks for every trade. Over the past 2 expansions, we've expanded options for combat by giving you more tools to customize builds and play your way. I'm going to say right here, this, I think, okay, I mentioned already that the story was in my eyes, the weakest part of the last 2 expansions, all right? Still enjoyed both expansions, no regrets in all the time I spent in them, but that was, in my eyes, the weakest part. I think one of my favorite parts of them was this. The expanded weapon proficiencies, the weapon master training, and the spears. Almost every single build on all my characters that I'm actively playing is using one of those features every minute of every playtime that I sit down, right? When I play Ranger, I'm using, if I'm playing Druid and supporting my group, I've got my mace in my main hand from the expanded weapon proficiencies, right? If I'm playing Heal Untamed, I'm using the Druid staff in my hand from the weapon master training, all right? If I'm playing Condi Engineer, I might have Spear from Janthier. Like, those features affect every minute of my in-combat playtime these days, and I love them to bits. Those are the things that whenever a new expansion's coming out, those are the things I look forward to the most, is those, raids are great. I'll do them a bit. I'll get burned out. I won't go back for months. Then I'll do them a bit. I'll get burned out. I won't go back for a while. But the stuff that affects every second you're in combat in some way, shape, or form, those are the things I'm delicious. I love that. Anything that just like more build craft, like, gets me so happy. That's my favorite thing. All right, Guild Wars 2 Soto introduced a new weapon proficiencies for every prof and separated relics from runes to deepen build crafting. The addition of Weapon Master Training was also a major step forward in allowing players to freely mix and match elite spec weapons across builds, and the addition of Land Spears offered a new weapon for every prof to use. With our next expansion, we're taking the next step. Elite specs are making a return. Oh, look, we all guessed it. This is the first time they've just flat out said it. This is confirmation that they've never given before. Yes, it's elite specs. All right, that excites me. We've been assuming until this point, and it was a very fair assumption, but it was an assumption. This time, designed to work together with the flexible build crafting system that we've been refining over the past few years. However, these new specs won't come with dedicated weapons. Again, this was something many people guessed. Let's keep reading, don't freak out. Instead, each one introduces unique profession mechanics, a new trait line, the utility skills, an elite skill, a healing skill, and distinct playstyles without locking you into a specific weapon or equipment loadout. Okay, so I'm going to just brainstorm here for a second. Many people know, like, Bladesworn. Bladesworn, they hit their F1, what are the F keys, and they draw their gun saber. It's another weapon but it's not a new equipable weapon. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't know the Bladesworn actually gets offhand pistol. Did you know that? Almost nobody knows that. It's all about the gun saver. Firebrand can use their tomes and they pull another weapon out of their back pocket and it replaces their 1 through 5, right? There's a lot of professions like that. They could easily, let's say that deck of cards, the gambler, whatever it is, they might have like F1 and then cards swirl around them and their, 1 through 5 might be like, Jack, Queen, King, Ace, Joker. I don't know. And they might do different things related to card magic. There still might be weapons without weapons. I feel like that. I feel like Wreck-It Ralph, just because you're a bad guy does not mean you're a bad guy. That we might get weapons that are not weapons. You know what I mean? That might still be a thing, but at the very least, we're going to be getting something unique for each of these. Just like how Druid has Astroform and Untamed has moving the Untamed back and forth. We're getting that kind of thing in some way, shape, or form, but not weapons. Just call them kits. No. All right, these new specs are designed to feel fresh, fun, and unique to Guild Wars 2 while building on the systems you already know and love. We'll have much more to share soon. And someone's about to get stepped on. All right. Challenging the challengers. The launch of the Mount Balriel raid wasn't just a development milestone for us. With both Leggy and Challenge modes, it was a long-awaited return for players eager to take on high-end group content. It marked a turning point in our ongoing effort to revitalize end-game PvE. Over the past few years, we've focused on delivering meaningful, replayable encounters across raids and strike missions. Most recently, we've returned to our encounter design roots with Kinfall, a new fractal designed in direct response to player feedback. With Kinfall, we stepped back from the raid-like complexity of recent fractals and focused instead on creating streamlined, repeatable experience that captures the feel of the early favorites. The challenge mode arrived a few weeks later, offering both accessibility and satisfying difficulty. And honestly, I think they did a decent job. Like, if that was their goal, I think they reached it. In my opinion, Kinfall is a fractal that if I'm doing fractal dailies and it comes up, I am not feeling the desire to skip it. And I think that's the biggest thing. Now look, obviously, if you are a better player than me, or you're in an experienced squad, or you got a static group, you're probably not skipping any of them, right? And I've cleared all of them, but if I'm with a pug and Sunqua comes up and they're like, you want to do CM? I'm like, hey, I don't know if I know you guys well enough for that, But that's just me. Your experience may differ, and that's okay. But Kinfall is one where if it comes up, I'm just like, yeah, let's do it. So I think they did. I think they did a good job at what they were trying. What they were aiming for there. Okay. Looking ahead, we'll continue to expand end-game content, including new encounters complete with challenge and legendary modes. But just as important as adding more is making that content better, more approachable, and more rewarding to return to. In the first quarterly release of our next expansion, that means unifying raids and strike missions into a more consistent structure, improving onboarding for new players, reworking parts of the UI, streamlining rewards, and investing in systems that help group content feel easier to step into and more meaningful to stick with. We want Guild Wars 2's endgame to be something anyone can grow into, whether you're joining your first organized group or aiming to master every challenge we throw your way. All right, and then there is this little thing here. June, Guild Wars 2 Absolution, Dragon Bash Skills and Balance Update, Fractal Challenge Mode, Kinfall. July, expansion announcement, woo! Return to Secrets of the Obscure event, World v World Rush bonus event. Okay, August, PvP Piush beta event again, Festival of the Four Winds. All right, what comes next? Oh, we're almost there. Oh, hold on, gotta hide it till we get there. Guild Wars 2 Janthier helped us learn where to push harder, where to simplify, how to better listen to the needs of our players. Your feedback didn't just resonate with us, it reshaped how we're thinking about the game and how we're building what's coming next. Mark your calendar, you'll get your first look at the next expansion, July 15th. That is this coming Tuesday. That is 1 week from today. Thanks again for your passion, your support, and your belief in this world and in the people that bring it to life. See you next week. Josh Davis, Game Director. And P.S. Thanks for reading this far. Here's another teaser for your troubles. Paragons and Ritualists! Ah! I can finally say it. Oh my god. Alright, what are we looking at here, chat? We are looking at what appears to be the guy who is in every piece of art for the warrior classes. Remember, like the Spellbreaker art? He had the 2 daggers and stuff like that. And he appears to be a Paragon. And that's yellow, so that's looking warrior. And the Asura with the green magic that is probably the Necromancer guy. You know, like he's the one that he's like in the Reaper art, and he's like this. And he appears to be a Ritualist. 2 of the, I would say 2 of the 3, because the last one's Dervish. I would say 2 of the 3 most requested things from Guild Wars 1 appear to finally be coming to Guild Wars 2, which is Paragon and Ritualist. There's 4. Yeah, another one, for example, was Dervish. I don't know. Maybe someone will get Dervish. I have no idea. Dervish was another one. Monk. Monk is kind of baked into Guardian, but it's not the same. But yeah, there's a lot. So, yeah, there was, let's see, Paragon. All right. Chat can help me out with this. I had the only Guild Wars 1 piece of content I haven't played is Nightfall, which is where the Paragon, I believe Paragon was added in Nightfall. I'd have to double check. Again, correct me if I'm wrong. It's okay. I haven't played Paragon in Guild Wars 1. I have played Ritualist Guild Wars 1, so I know more about this. Paragon and Dervish were Nightfall. Thank you. So that means Assassin and Ritualist were factions. So Paragon, I haven't played. I know a little bit about it. They're often associated with, I think, like the Sun Spears. They will have like a spear and a shield. Their faces are their face mask of their helmets is usually open on the front because they do a lot of shout abilities. They scream at their teammates, "Get better," and you're crying, but it works. The Ritualist, I can speak a little bit more on that. They would have they're Spartan coded, yeah. The Ritualists, they would obviously do various rituals. Some of them would summon spirits, and the spirits would often look like a ghost chained to the ground. It's like they were not willing participants in this. But the ghosts would have different things. An example is a DPS Ritualist might summon a whole bunch of like ghosts that are chained to the ground, and they were like turrets. Like a totem from other games. But they would like fire projectiles at enemies, and they were just guns, basically. Then there was Support Ritualist, and a Support Ritualist might summon a spirit, and the spirit would say something like, half of any damage received by your party is diverted to this ghost until the ghost dies. So he'd be like, he would summon a damage sponge, and then focus on like healing and supporting the group. They would also have other tools, such as, Vindicators, you know, the urn, your ultimate, that's from Ritualist. Ritualists would have different urns with ashes of famous heroes that they could summon into their hands, and while they were carrying it, it would like emit certain buffs to the party. And then when they were done, they would just bash it on the ground. Forget that guy, he wasn't that important. It would, you know, basically you would give up your ability to attack, your 1 through 5, in order to carry around this buff thing that buffs the party until you put it down. They also had weapon enchants. Yes, they had weapon enchants as well. They could put different enchantments on the party. Like they could basically lock out half of their mana regen to focus energy onto the weapons of their teammates and give them buffs in various ways, shapes, and forms. So all of that was, you know, different stuff with the Ritualist. I for one, as a pet class and support enjoyer, I really enjoyed it because, again, there was a support build. It was an alternative to the monk as a healer in Guild Wars 1, but also you could play it as a DPS and a pretty good solo class as well. There was many videos of people that were way further in the game than I was that got to like the end game farming, and they would just summon like 20 spirits, and they'd be like, "I cast gun, prepare to meet God," and then the thing would just get filled with ghost bullets, and it would be over. It was a very cool class. I dabbled in it a lot with a lot of my characters in GW1. Once Loranity sets up the next Return to Guild Wars factions, going to definitely do something with Ritualists. But it is important. Yeah, you're sharing too much. Yeah, okay. It's important to say that, what did they say they were adding? They said a new trait line, a heal skill, the utilities. There'll be 4 utility buttons, and 1 elite. So everything I've said is way too much for all that. Now, how are they going to do that? They might, let's just, speculating here, they might have a utility that summons a ghost, and maybe there will be like a trait line that, depending on the trait you take, it's an offensive ghost or a defensive ghost. It could be something like that. Just kind of like how the Mechanist has traits that make the mech go from being like a support barrier mech to an offensive punch mech to an offensive gun mech to an offensive stab mech. You know, like all of those are different, you know, things where the traits change the thing you already have. They could do something like that. I don't know. I would say if they were going to, you know, they get rid of anything. I mean, what could they do? They could have one button that's kind of like a kit, like an engineer kit, but it has like access to the urns. Because, you know, that would replace what's in your hands. That would kind of go hand in hand with the original gameplay. I would say the elite skill. I mean, I've already mentioned my love for supports and pet builds. My favorite elite skill in Guild Wars 1 with the Ritualist was the one that just summoned 3 ghosts at once. You had a bunch of buttons that summoned 1 ghost at a time, and they had one elite skill, I forget the name, Chad will say it in a second, that just summoned like a whole pile of them. It was a long cooldown, and it was just like, let's just start the fight with the whole band. And it would draw all of them out at once. That was my favorite one. They had others, of course, but that was my favorite. It was called Signet of Spirits. There you go. So those are the kind of things that we can expect to see. But, you know, this is hundreds of years later. We'll see how it turns out. But yeah, there will... see how this goes. Dude, I'm really excited. This freaking art. The whole article was nice, and then this is just, like freaking out just looking at this one picture. It's so good. Long cooldown doesn't apply to Guild Wars. Yeah, when I say long cooldown, I mean like maybe 60 seconds as opposed to 20. You know, stuff like that. That's a Yoda Asura. Yeah. All right. Well, that is what we've got for today. Super excited. I am anticipating another teaser of another class tomorrow. And another thing, we've gotten 5 artworks of different pictures, right? We got the banjo, we got the winged helmet, we got the thing that looks like an orb with 2 swirlies around it, a deck of cards, and a thing that could be a jaw or a shield. Do you think any of those icons match either of these? Could this guy be the winged helmet, or was that something else entirely? That's the next thing to think about, chat, is... have we already seen these amidst the pictures, or are these 2 pictures that we haven't seen yet, which means the pictures we've already seen would either be not Necro or not Warrior? That's something to think about. So that's it for today. As always, the links to the sources will be down below. Don't you hate it when YouTubers don't link their sources? And I'll fight you in the comment section. There we go, and cut. Okay. Now I'm just going to throw this onto YouTube, and then we'll have to make a thumbnail for it. That is really freaking cool, chat. That is really freaking cool. They know how to teaser. The written icon of Guild Wars 1 is 2 lines in the circle. Maybe that's the Ritualist, the 2. I did mention that in the video where I talked about the orb with the 2 lines. I pointed out that the icon for the original Ritualist was like 2 arcs. It was like an arc and an arc with a dot in the middle. And if you twisted those, this could be a reimagining of the Ritualist. So it could be that the Winged Helm, which was the second thing, was the Paragon. And it also could be that the third thing, which was the Orb, was the Writ. Not 100%, but it's a possibility. Okay. Oh my gosh, chat. I'm getting like hyped. I'm getting like actually hyped. Like, what was I gonna do? I was gonna play Specter? Oh, who cares? Ritualist is coming out. All classes get bards? No, it's just a joke, Hydra. It's just a joke. Okay. Let's see. All right, I'm opening up GIMP. I don't believe this release, Muck. Why would they make new elites for Guild Wars 2 as Guild Wars 3 is releasing soon? Right? Yeah. So, new expansion in October, or Guild Wars 3 is probably November at the latest, right? Yeah, that's probably it. Let's see. Thumbnail template. All right, hang on. So we should look over the Guild Wars 1 classes together. I could. You could. I mean, the Guild Wars 1 classes that didn't make it to Guild Wars 2 is Paragon, Dervish, Ritualist, Monk, Assassin, but I'm gonna be honest, Assassin is really close to Thief. There's major overlap there. Engineer. Well, engineer is in Guild Wars 2, but it's not in Guild Wars 1. I've never seen Guild Wars 1 classes. I could watch a summary about them. Hang on. Guild Wars 1 classes. Okay, here we go. Let me dark mode this. Okay, so Warrior, you know that. Ranger, you know that. Necromancer, Mesmer, Elementalist. You know all those, right? Monk is kind of a part of Guardian, but it didn't directly return. Factions added the Assassin, which honestly is baked into Thief, and Ritualist, which we don't have. And again, here's the Ritualist icon. It's like 2 lines with like a dot in the middle. Almost looks like an eye, but not quite the same. Paragon, which I did mention as a possibility, and this was their icon before. I did mention this as a possibility in the Winged Helmet video. And Dervish, which is these guys, and they would typically use scythes as their weapons. Again, this was from Nightfall. I didn't play Nightfall, so I don't have as much to say about these. But that's a Dervish. They were good at cleaving, you know, cutting down lots of enemies at once in melee. So those were the Guild Wars 1 professions. Amok, I mean, Engineer could get the cards. If it's a trap-focused spec, it might be Trap Specialist Engineer. I mean, anything's possible. They gave freaking Necromancers a gun and vodka, but I'd be surprised. Dervish's Reaper? Kind of. But, different theme. Okay, this was a previous thumbnail that I made here. Alright, let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Let's get rid of that. Okay. And where... Oh, shoot. Where did I put it? There it is. All right. Burp. And... All right. Let's see. Hang on a sec. I'm gonna do something here. Let's do that. Gonna adjust this just to fit more in the frame. Oh, undo that. New layer. Get those beefy legs. Yes, only the beefy legs. That's it. Nope, that looks weird. Hang on a sec. Let's do, what is it called? Layer mask? I don't use this feature much. And then, and then, nope. That's it. That's what I'm trying to do. Okay. That looks better. All right, so that makes it a little more zoomed in. And then we need a pog. We need a pog somewhere. Just that's too much. Too much pog. Turn down the pog. It's too big. You can't see the writ. There we go. Better. Let's see. All right, then we need some text. All right, hang on. Let's see. Paragon? Ritualist? Okay. And then... Maybe do like that. I feel like that would be enough to where people are gonna be like, I'm gonna click that video. Let's see. Boop. Guild Wars 1 and Guild Wars 2, Guild Wars 3 confirmed. Do the pointy guy in the thumbnail? I don't think there's enough room for that one. Hang on. Where is he? He covers too much of it. He covers too much of it. I'm gonna put the pog one back. Another time. The soy bot. Yeah, just having fun with it. Alright, hold on. I'm gonna add some color to this. Let's see. Ta-da. Ta-da. Okay. Alright. Hey! Safe. Flip him and oot him on the other side if they go a little smaller. Circle of soy pogs all around the rid. No. Reverse pointy guy, put him in the upper left. Move the rid a bit on the right. Nah, it's fine, it's fine. Let's see. Thumbnails. Guild Wars 2, news 7, 8, 25. Oop, caps lock is cruise control for gold. Someone said, oh great, another movie of Dwayne The Rock Johnson and Kevin Hart. That's fantastic. That is fantastic. Alright, reuse details, let's see. Guild Wars 2, Janthier blog. Oh, and Paragon Ritualist, oh my god, BBQ. What a title. July 8th. Okay. Oh yeah, where's my sources? I gotta cite my sources. Related links. Alright. I gotta wait for this. This folder's huge. Boycott this video with the soy. Just read the news update. What are the community theories on what the next X-Pack is going to be? Still that whole Polynesian island vibe. I don't know. I mean, if we're getting the Paragon, that was basically from the Path of Fire region. And if we're getting the Ritualist, that was essentially from factions. I don't know where we're going. Going to the friggin' moon. I have no idea. Mike, there's one more news post on Skyscale skin if you want to add it there. It's too late! It's too late! There's no breaks! I will check it out, though. Let me see. Oh, God. What's that? He's... Wait, what? He's like a bug. He's got, like, exoskeleton? It's a lobster? Yeah, he's got, like, a lobster tail. Krauka lobsteric. Okay. That's an interesting one. Publish. Okay. Let's see. All right. Oh, wait, no, that's the wrong one. Hold on a sec. I gotta change that. Okay. Import from video. Does that one have new? Nope, that's not it. That's not the one we want. Where's another video I did? Hang on a sec. Guide. There, that's acceptable. That'll work. Okay, double check it. Someone ArenaNet looked at its meal one day and was inspired for a Sky Skill skin. Alright, hello Guild Wars 2 gamers, MuklukYoutube. Hi guys and gamers. The links to the sources will be in. Alright, there we go. Okay, cool. So now I just gotta wait for this processing to finish and then I'll be allowed to make it public. Easy. The biblically accurate crab god, yeah. The are where Joko is, but more to the east of the map. What? The are where? What? Let's see. Usually we had an elite spec that tied into the area we went to. Rit is from Kantha. Yep. Paragon is from Alona. Yep. Do you think each class could have its own place to visit to learn their spec? Cool idea, but that would drastically increase the amount of time? I don't know. The development time. Development time would go way up. Your idea reminds me of when Death Knights were added to World of Warcraft, and they had a whole separate newbie experience, which was, you know, like them breaking free. Like they had a whole separate newbie zone only for Death Knights. I hope the new map is in Dominion, Winds Claw Island, and then the other new map in the area to the right of POF and top VOD. Well, do you think we're getting another expansion after this one? I don't know. I don't know. I mean, if I listen to you guys, then, you know, Guild Wars 3 is in December or something, so, you know, then, you know, who knows? Maybe no more expansions. Maybe Guild Wars 2 is end of life. This is the last one. When is the expansion release date? October something. It's October. Yeah. Splat. Right into the ground. Let's see. Okay. Wizard. Let's see. Wizard Tower. There we go. Underwater expansion is what we really need. Hey, a lot of people... Yo, 666 viewers on Twitch. Ooh. A lot of people hate the underwater combat in various video games. I really like it in Guild Wars. Like, I remember playing Vashir, the underwater zone in WoW, and playing Kedge Keep, the underwater dungeon and raid in EverQuest. I don't mind it. And I think underwater combat in Guild Wars 2 is better than both of those games. It's just they never use it. So I wouldn't mind seeing more underwater stuff, personally. But they would need to revisit the underwater balance, which they haven't done. Maybe they'll do like Overwatch, and Guild Wars 3 will be Guild Wars 2, but with a new number. Let's not joke about that. Overwatch 2 was such a freaking scam. I played Overwatch 1 from time to time. I have not played it since they changed to the second one. I haven't played it. We're getting Guild Wars 3 in December, you said. Did I hear right? Since they usually talk about future expansions, what kind of notes is like we do X in mind of future X pack? What? I'm sorry. Can you redo that sentence? I don't understand. No new map in the story. How do we unlock the specs this time? No hero points this time. I loved Overwatch 1, but the game got way too competitive for my taste. Hello, and not if you were low rank enough. Hey Mike, how are you doing? Do you think we'll get Ellie Longbow? No. They said that we're not getting new weapons in the next expansion. There are new maps in story. They said they're not adding new maps in story at the 3-month update. Not just at launch, at 6 months and 9 months probably. Let's see. Okay. All right. For now, chat, I need to give out Support Specter a try. So, I am looking to do the daily strikes. What are the daily strikes? These. Temple of Fubei. Oh god, Old Lion's Court. So we are going to try this out. So if anyone on EU, I'm on EU, this is an EU squad, would like to join me, here's a link to my squad in the chat, and I just need some peeps to fill it up. Support Spectre, maybe the changes help. We're gonna see. We're gonna see. Are you going to celebrate reaching 100k subs, or did you do that already? I did a big thank you, and I did I did do a big stream that was God, we gave out like 10 legendaries that day. We went broke that day. Yeah, we did a big party. We celebrated. I also have got the play button. Hang on a second. Turn it around. I made a shelf. It's got the play button from YouTube. It's got the Bleed Purple statue from Twitch. It's got the prototype, the very first plushie. The others are coming to you guys soon. And a few other cool things are on that shelf. Oh, yeah. Just recently got it. 50-man strikes. What? Oh, no! I'm very sorry. I didn't put it into the thingy. Okay. Hang on. I'm sorry. I'm leaving this squad. I made a new one, and I set it to 10-player. Rejoined the new squad because I'm a big old fat idiot. And I don't have the heart to kick out random people, so I'm just going to do it this way. 50-man Old Lion's Court. Yo, that's... The robots won't know what hit them. Alright. Okay. Let's see. Aldebaran is quick DPS. Alright. Goldstaff says quick heal. Okay. I need an Alack DPS to join Goldstaff the Great in Group 3. Do we have one? Laven says can fill. Okay, Laven, if you could alack DPS, that would be great. Or Jasmina, one of you. Alright. With that, we should have everything covered, so everyone else is just pure damage. Alright. Chat, you guys said whoever I use steel on is my marked target? How do I tell who has my mark? Because he doesn't have, like, a buff or anything. Tether? I don't see a tether. You get the buff in combat. You don't until you're in Shroud? Oh. I guess I can't fill... Hold on. Can I not get Shroud Juice out of combat? I guess I can't build that out of combat. Okay. Template for beer. Let's go. It tethers when you enter Shroud. Alright. Alright. Let's see. Try it on him. See what happens. Birthday cake. Alright. 3, 2, 1. Got that default Heart of Thorns glider. How'd I get to be number 1? You're a winner, Corwin. 1, 2, 3. Alright, split up. Uh-oh.
Hey, look, it's the Tree of Birds. How are you today?
Hi, Bertree. Alright. Doing fine so far. Stack the greens. CC. Watch out for the wall. Block the orbs. Split up. We're getting close to the CC phase, so just a heads up. Easy. Not too bad. So, someone in chat said if I use Siphon on someone before the fight starts, that I would see, like, it written somewhere who my Siphon is. I didn't see that anywhere. I did try, but I didn't notice that anywhere. Not sure where that was. Where is self stats? Damage, healing, barrier. Alright. Okay. Let's see. What is the next one? I think it was Old Lion's Court. Dervish has wind and earth spells. Maybe Dervish will be elementalist. Downstate Dervish. Downstate Dervish. Woo! Alright. When you collect the chests off the right, you have to... Hey, thank you. You don't have to click them to accept them. How do you do that? Scare, you right-click them. Use the right mouse button. There's a few types of chests that won't work on, but it works for most of them. Good tip, thanks. You're welcome. If you didn't know that one, you might appreciate this video I'm linking in the chat. It has a whole bunch of tips, and that chest one is the first one in that video. Alright. Arborstone. Muck, do you have anything that you want from the new X-Pack? Ritualist. So I think I got it. Old Lion's Court. Oh boy. How do you know we're getting Ritualist? Birdtree, they had a blog post today which included this image, which shows a warrior paragon and a necromancer ritualist. So get hype. Okay. Slash squad. Okay, let's all get on the same page here. Are we interrupting the first guy or not? It doesn't matter. We just need to all be doing the same thing. Either we all are or we all are not. You let us know. Fine. Don't. Alright. I gave them the chance to tell me what to do. They told me to tell them what to do, so I'm telling them don't do it. Oh, I've got to zap someone. Zap. There we go. Muda boons. Alright, and we're not CCing this. Alright, we CC the green one. CC green. And then there's a safe spot. Group was in the pain circle there for a second, but was able to heal through it. Wasn't too bad. You should try it out if you haven't, Muk. I tried Heal Alack Vindy last week, and yeah, it was fun. I'll have a video on that one soon. It's in Noxxi's inbox. Careful with your CC. Careful with CCing red. It's my first time using the Shadow Refuge Revive. Red on this one. We CC red on this one. And then there should be a safe spot. Alright, we gotta move, we gotta move. This is not too bad. Safe spot. Mug, is this a CM strike? No, it's a normal difficulty strike, but it's Old Lion's Court with a Pug, and I'm playing something that I am new at, which is support Specter. And as I was just saying, this ain't too bad. It definitely feels a whole lot better than the last time I played it. Blue is the interrupt target on this one. Oh, that was beautiful. I was like, the cast bar for Basilisk Venom was still casting, and y'all were done. It was like, it was over. Never done this strike, but I know not to interrupt the red guy. I mean, you can. Technically, it's either everyone interrupts or no one does. Like, it doesn't matter as long as the whole group's on the same page. So, my guide for it basically says don't do it, but the truth of the matter is, as long as everyone's doing the same thing, it's okay. Hang on. Okay. Nice. GG. Well done. All right. Off to Icebrute Saga. I gotta find it in my wizard tome. There it is. Eye of the North. All right. Where's the beard? I am happy with how I looked with the beard. But in terms of functionality, I'm happy to be smooth again. And also, my wife is happy that it is smooth again. I have said it before and I'll say it again. My wife loved the beard at range. She hated it in melee. Alright. Shiver Peaks Pass. I missed beard luck. I was beard luck for a year. Like a whole year. Nice luck. Thank you. I will say though, it's the little things. Like when you have a beard and you're in the shower, you can't feel water on your face. Or like you lay down on a cool pillow at night, you can't feel the pillow on your face. And so it's like, the first thing I did when I got rid of the beard is I was like, oh, in the shower. It felt nice.
Be careful up there. Conditions have
Alright.
been worse than
Where's everyone? I'm in Shiver Peaks Pass.
another way up.
No. You forgot to put on the alert sound? Oh yeah, after we did the recording. Hang on. Thank you for the subs, y'all. Appreciate you.
We are paragoning.
Paragoning. Did boy say anything after you shaved? He said I looked weird now. Yeah, I mean, when I first grew the beard, he said it looked weird, and then when I shaved it, he said it looked weird. So I think I just always look weird.
Look in the thumbnail.
What?
Oh look, Dwayne the Rock Paragon, 1 whole year muck. Absolutely wild.
Mm-hmm.
Mukluk note.
Hmm. Kind of awkward for your team clone to say you look weird. Yeah. Beard question, do you shampoo or do you soap it? I was using shampoo. And for a little while, I tried beard oil, but it honestly, to me, just felt gross. I was having slimy stuff all over my chin all day. Huh? Talking about beard oil. Low dose. Beard oil. I think that was me when I subbed before and I told you to put in the thumbnail. Oh, that. Okay, got it. Having to replace the oil in your beard every 3,000 miles is tiresome. You need a buzzer to accuse Mini-Muck of self-reporting next time you look weird. Is it okay if I join? Yep, just get here fast, please. Found another reason why Char is superior. Char can get a booby trap on their tool belt skills. I like how Twitch blocked your message because you said booby. Dora, hurry up. Hold on, making sure that video uploaded. Gotta check for the butt bots. None yet. None yet. And we're getting network error. You're probably on NA and we're on EU. All right, going in. Alright, precasting stability, because he's about to boop us. Alright, good, that lasted. Okay, precasting stab. Hopefully this is up in time. Yeah, I think we're good. Okay. Boop, 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 boop. Okay. Next up, the bears. The bed bot sent from the future by ANET. No, it's like... So for anyone who hasn't heard this story before, as a YouTuber, constantly battling against people who leave comments that are bots, right? Like, what a great video. How do you do it? You should check out mine. And then there's a link to like an OnlyFans or something, right? So, and it's like, if I upload a video and within 3 seconds, if there's comments and the profile pictures are like back butts or front butts, it's probably a butt bot. And I'm just like, ban forever, ban forever. And it's like 2 a day. I with my channel size, I ban for life like 2 a day. And they just constantly spin up new butt bots. Front butt? Yeah, front butt. Had no idea you could join EU groups in NA. You could join the group, but you can't see each other. Do you get all story content when buying Guild Wars 2 expansions, or do you still need to buy Living Story patch stuff separately? Asking about EOD onwards. After EOD, all the story... Okay, so after Living World Season 4, all the story is... Sorry, correction. After Icebrood Saga, so EOD, Soto, Janthier, there was no other little DLCs after that. It's all included in the expansions. Hi, DPS. Hi, Wellgrown. Are we all here? There's still one guy by the door. I'm worried he's gonna die. Lotos! Oh. Ah! It wasn't me! Alright, we're going into challenge mode. Don't run circles around them, just stay on one side. Nice. Easy. Is there an add-on manager for Guild Wars 2? There is an add-on manager. It's a bit dated. If you do, check that link I put in the chat right there. There's a bunch of guides for various add-ons. That's not all of the add-ons for the game, but that's a bunch of the ones that I've made guides on that I can attest to. Thank you. The recent news has lured me back to Guild Wars 2. Sure. Yeah, they did away with that system after End of Dragon. So the last 3 expansions, End of Dragon's onward, all the updated story content that they patched in after was just part of the expansions. Like if you purchased it, you just got it. All right, Framier. Glad to see you retrying Heal Specter with the changes to it. Loving it. Can you tell me exactly what they... It was like, this does feel better to play than it used to, but it's been so long I can't put my finger on what they did. Can you tell me exactly what they changed that made it... I guess I'm not having to target allies? Is that it? Because I remember before I would have to target enemies, target allies, target enemies, target allies. And now it's certainly not... I'm just targeting enemies right now. And it's like, yeah, I might be able to squeeze more out of it if I targeted allies, but I don't feel like I have to. Blast finishers on 2, more regen and stab on the yellow well. target ally thing. Oh, didn't the yellow well used to be like just whatever boon you didn't have? And now it's like reliable boons? Oh, dang. No.
Loving the elite speculations so far.
Me too. Hello, Trust. Thank you. So they're going to take it with a grain of salt to react for at least. Shroud gave Alakan a bit of healing before. It was best to spam 1 and 2 because they had the lowest cast time. And now all the Alak is on Shroud F2? Or Shroud 2, I think? I'm using the AoE Invis thing just to res everybody. Sorry! Nice. Mug's actually the CEO of ArenaNet and every decision is made by him. Well, they don't respect me because they don't respond to my emails for months at a time. Okay, hold on. What did I confirm? Blue Yordle. Has it been confirmed that the specs revealed are usable by all classes? No. That's just me being silly. They did confirm today that there are elite specs coming out. And they showed artwork today that... Give me a second. They showed artwork today that looks like a warrior paragon and a necromancer ritualist. That explains the Ellie hate? No, it doesn't. I hate Guardians. And their ArenaNet's favorite child. What are you talking about? Whisper and the Bone Skinner. Call ANET, I need another dance emote. Mug is playing Koi. I'm sure he's played all of them like he did with Spears. Yeah. You mean like when I got early access to Janthier for the Spears? Yeah, you guys are asking all the wrong questions. You're like, Mug, what do you know about Guild Wars 3? And I'm like, nothing. What you guys don't know is I'm already playing Guild Wars 4. I'm 10 steps ahead. Yo, it's Guild Wars 40k. It's sci-fi. Fighting demons. Spaceships. For the Jenna. It turned out the Skrit became Skaven. No one saw that coming. The engineers just became the Adeptus Mechanicus. Exactly. Not Skrit each. No. Okay, I'm not killing that thing quickly. Oh, dang, that chain. Oh my god. Dude, I was low health for so long because I was just like getting followed by that chain person. Dude, why is this ability not working? Did you guys see that? I'm like glitched out or something. I've pressed my Well of Gloom like 14 times and it will not go off. I cannot use abilities. I can't. None of my buttons are working. All I can do is walk around. Good luck. I can't transform either. I can't steal. I'm gonna let myself go downstate here. No, it's just dead. Just full dead. Yeah. That was great. I don't know what was going on there. 1 through 5, 6 through 10, and F1 through F4 not working. Did you kill your copy? I couldn't even attack my copy. I was bugged before I even got in there. The average Specter experience, yeah. I don't know. So, okay. I know Whisper of Jormag is a fight that's got bugs. I've never seen that one. Like, before I even got into the copy room, I couldn't attack. It's not Specter, it's Spectator. Yeah, new build. That was crazy. You could see the targeting. Hang on a sec. Okay, I can do stuff now. That was weird. I have never seen that glitch on any of my other characters on Whisper. There was a bug if you use a skill on a copy. No, all my skills were available. They weren't on cooldown. I definitely didn't. Hopefully that's a one-time thing. Give Mimuk a coffee. That. They fixed it, the Muck broke it again. Oh my god, yeah, tell me. I'm looking at the comments under the new news video, and one of them reads, "Give me an LFG revamp with this, and my body is yours, ain't it?" Oh, LFG. All right. Time to see if Specter can heal and step left. Oh my god. I even did the Basilisk Venom. It's not my fault, chat. They just didn't want it bad enough. I should have brought the projectile block to this one. I did not think to. There was one misclick there. I started to do Shadow Refuge to try to save someone, and I'm like, this isn't going to save him, and I tried to cancel it, and I didn't cancel it in time, and then it disabled the group's attack. So everyone was just like, eh! Dang it, Muck! I was like, ah. Anyway, I wish instead of Shadow Refuge, I had brought Smokescreen for that one. But in terms of, like, the healing output for this fight, yeah, this build can, even in my newbie hands, this build can easily heal this fight, as long as people don't stand in the instant death puddles. Alright. GG to my group mates. Thank you for joining me for that. I appreciate it. Sounds like you don't your healer zone. Let's see. Is there a way to tone down visual effects? I'm getting to that age where I'm missing a lot of indicators because the screen is so cluttered. Some, yeah. But the problem is, will you tone down the ones that you want to tone down? So if you go into, let's see, you hit F11, go to graphics, you can turn down, like character model limit, you turn that down, that can reduce like how much stuff that you see. And there's some other things in here that you can turn down that can help. Muck, there's a teaser in today's announcement on the official blog post. I know, Jen, I've already put up a video. And the video has the teaser in the thumbnail. I'm on it. Okay. What is that? Aerodrome. Ritualist. I know! And Paragon. The Banjo Elvis build. Man, if they're actually doing an expansion, they're bringing back they're bringing Paragon, Ritualist, and Bard. Yo, they are nailing so. Now, hopefully they're good, of course, but they're hitting a lot of like long-standing requests by the community, right? Okay, chat. Let's pretend that Mesmer's getting Bard, and Necro's getting Writ, and Warrior's getting Paragon. If they're adding Dervish to the game, and Dervish is not one of those three classes, who gets Dervish? Go. What do you think? Ellie, Revenant, Ellie, Rev guarantee, Rev. Lots of Rev. Lots of people saying Rev. My bet is the Ranger spec is a wild shape kind of spec that looks like the shield teeth. I was thinking Ranger when I looked at that icon, but it could mean a bunch of different things. Like, that might just be the face of a special animal that's associated with the spec or something. Average. Ranger for you. Oh, I have to play Dervish? Oh my gosh. Let's see. Add boons, utility, quickness. Okay. Alright, let me do a couple things here. Beep. Alright, pausing the alerts. Okay, chat. Going to record a episode of I Tried for the Heal Alack Specter. Okay. Alright, hello Guild Wars 2 gamers, Mukluk here, and this is another episode of I Tried, where I, a player with a lot of hours in the game, am trying out a build that I am not fluent in to see what it's like, see if the grass is greener on the other side, and share my thoughts on it. Today, I tried the Heal Alack Specter. Now, I have tried the Heal Alack Specter out once before. It was quite a long time ago. There's been a lot of patches since then. At the time that I last tried it, I rated it as one of the most awful things to play I had ever experienced in this game. There's a few reasons. One, you had to frequently stealth your team, which would turn when you get it stealthed by any source, your attack turns off. So if you're auto attacking like 1-1-1-1, it just stops until you hit another button. So you basically bring the group's DPS down by frequently stealthing them and them having to hit a button to break out of it, and it pauses attacks frequently. Another reason was you would have to target an enemy, target an ally, target an enemy, target an ally, target an enemy, target an ally. Totally doable, kind of tedious. All right, so it was not enjoyable to play. If you were willing to jump through all those hoops, it was able to perform. You know, it could do healing, it could do boons, but it was not fun to play. So this is me trying it again, and I've heard that there's been a lot of QOL improvements since the last time I gave it a look, and gotta say, it feels better. So just jumping into it, what build did I try? At the time of this recording, there is a version of this build on numerous community websites because the Heal Specter has been out for a long time. However, you know, this is like the newest version of it. I mostly used information that I got from Guild Gen and also from Snowcrows. And I'll have links to both of those in the description down below. Their builds are extremely similar. There's only one trait difference, which is right here. And the stats that they use on their gear is different, but most of it is the same stuff. So I kind of just took some stuff that I like from both. So I'm going to show you what I ended up running for this little experiment and share that with you now. So first of all, this is the build. We're doing Shadow Arts 111 and Trickery 312. And Specter 133. Now, the other website says to use Specter with that one right there. This is a possibility of a big heal when you come out of your Shroud mode around you. This one is you get more Condi damage and also you get more healing power based on your Condi damage. And because we're taking that trait, I was running Plague Doctor's gear. Plague Doctor's gear has very high survivability. You see I've got 26,000 hit points. It has good healing power, it has good concentration, and it has solid condition damage. Now, if you... this is kind of like being 2/3 of a healer and also half a DPS at the same time. If you feel like you needed more healing output, which I never felt that way, but if you feel like you needed more, you could run any of the other versions of this build on these websites. There's Minstrels, there's Givers, there's Harriers, etc. I was using Plague Doctor for today's experiments. I was using... okay, I have full Legendary except a Scepter. So my Scepter had the wrong stats. That was one single item. That was less than 1% difference to the total number output, but it ended up being fine. But I was running Concentration and Demons, which was one of the suggestions to run. I could have run Transference for a bit more healing instead of Demons, but again, didn't really feel necessary. My offhands were a Pistol and a Dagger. And I'm going to be honest, I think in the entire time I played today, I never hit the 4 key or the 5 key. So this could be empty, and I wouldn't have noticed other than the stats being missing. And yeah, Plague Doctor on everything. Oh, and runes, I was running Rune of Tormenting. Again, just leaning into the Plague Doctor thing. And I never, even on Bone Skinner, because I tested it doing all the daily strikes, even on Bone Skinner, Old Lion's Court, Temple of Phoebe, I had enough healing for everything, even though I was taking little bits of damage here and there from the Plague Doctor build that I copied. But know that if you were feeling nervous about your healing output, you could easily change Plague Doctor for like Minstrels or Givers and change like Demons to Transference for the Sigil, and you could get more healing out of this than what I even experienced here today. All right, so how do you play it? So first thing, break this down into a few digestible steps. All right, so let's say you're in combat, you're tapping something, and you press F1, boom, that's a lot of boons. So the first thing you do is you press F1 pretty much every time it's up, and that applies quite a number of boons, and you just keep doing that. Okay, second thing, each time it's up, you press Well of Bounty, and then you do the 2 in it 3 times. Okay, so that takes over half of your initiative, so you need to stockpile a little bit of this, and that does a whole bunch of blast finishers in the Well of Bounty. It gives you a bunch of boons, and also every time you do a blast finisher in a well, that will make a dark aura. So hold on a second, if I do this and this, you see I got a dark aura, okay? And the dark aura, whenever you get dark aura, you heal nearby allies. Also, whenever you grant dark aura, you cure condition to nearby allies. And so basically every time that you use a well and you're hitting 2, that's AoE heal and cleanse, AoE heal and cleanse, AoE heal and cleanse. It's great. All right, so just, whenever you can get a well down. Now, Well of Bounty, you do pretty much every time it lights up because it helps with your boon up time. Well of Bounty, and then 2, like probably 3 times before it wears off, and then it wears off just a moment later, and then do something else. So that's that, and then your F1 on cooldown, and then let's talk about the Shroud. All right, so the main thing There's a few different ways to do this, but the easiest one to digest that I saw was you go into Shroud. Again, you hit Steal if it's available. You hit 2, that's your Alacrity, and then just 1 until the 2's back up. Hit 2 a second time, and then leave. That's the easiest way to keep the Alacrity up, is when Shroud's available, you go Shroud, 2, auto attack for a minute, 2 a second time, leave Shroud. Okay? So, you keep doing that, add that to what you're already doing. Well of Bounty, 3 hops in the air, Steal, 2, or sorry, F2, 2, and then auto, and then 2 again, and then leave. And then look at these juicy boons. All right, we got regen, we got prot, we got alacrity, vigor, swiftness, fury, 25 stacks of might. Very simple. Now let's talk about the other shroud skills. The other shroud skills, 3 is a heal around you. 3 is barrier around you. 4 is healing around you. 5 is stability, Aegis, and also some healing around you. So if you're in Shroud and the teammate needs more healing or more barrier, then instead of 2 autos 2, do 2, 3, 4, 5, 2. And you can just hit all those keys, and it's a bunch of barrier and healing on your teammates for no cost. So that's not too bad at all. Now, that's the rotation. The rotation, like what are you always doing, is Bounty 2, 2, 2, and then Shroud 2, bonk, 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 2, leave Shroud, and Steal every time it lights up. Those things are supplying constant heals, constant barrier, constant condition cleanse, and constant boons to your team. Note the quickness is coming from the console for testing purposes. This build does not supply quickness. That's just for testing. All right. So what other tools do we have besides that? Okay. The heal well is just a ton of healing, right? So if you use this well, it's a bunch of healing, and then while we're in it, you know, why not? We can hit 2 more times, and when you're in any of your wells, you can tap 2 a few times to do the big heal Condi cleansing explosions. All right, but this one, use this when you need to heal people. Well of Silence is primarily for CCing target and also condition cleansing allies. The tooltip on this sucks. It doesn't say how many conditions it cleanses. After looking into it, it cures 5. It does 1 per pulse for 5 pulses. Doesn't say it on the tooltip. But again, if you're in a pinch and it's like, you know, let's say your Well of Bounty and also your Well of Healing is on cooldown, you can just throw Well of Silence and you could just do a couple of jump up and downs, and that's more healing, more Condi cleansing. Any of your wells can do that. The ultimate, the elite skill, I brought Basilisk Venom, just a big fat CC for anyone who's not a Thief main and they're considering it. When you hit this, it puts a buff on your whole party. The whole party, on their next hit, they do 150 CC. So everyone's already attacking, the break bar comes up, you hit this button, and just almost instantly, it's a total of 750 CC if all 5 people do it. It's 150 times 5. So it's a little cast bar, and then boom, huge CC from 5 people. So very simple, and you just use that when you need it. This slot is a flex slot. You got a few options here. Let me leave combat for a second, just a moment. Remove Golem, respawn. Okay, I was running Shadow Refuge. Shadow Refuge, it doesn't say it on the tooltip, but it revives. It put that on a downstate teammate, and it revives them for 5% per second for 5 seconds. Combined with you helping out, can get people up pretty quick. Noxxi, there's a clip in Old Lion's Court of me using it on somebody. Thanks. Now, the downside here is it makes your party invisible, which it turns their attacks off. So if possible, you know, don't just use this whenever. You only want to use this when you need to save a life. It also does a sizable amount of healing. However, you know, the main thing is you use it to save a life because it would turn your party's attacks off. The other options, Smoke Screen. Smoke Screen is just projectile block. I should have brought this to Bone Skinner today, but I didn't think about it in my newbiness. But this is blocks projectiles. Another option for blocking projectiles is Prepare Seal Area. So this skill, you tap it, and then it does a 3-second countdown, and then a circle appears. And then the next time you tap it, it's instant, and it makes a projectile blocking bubble. Also, notice it's already a third of the way cooled down. I believe this skill can cool down while the seal is on the ground. So you could, like, prepare, if the projectile block is going to be in a specific location, you could use this, have it prepared, and then have it already cooling down for the next time, which is really cool. That's a very neat feature of it. But if it's like, let's say, for example, Dagda teleports to a random spot in the room and fires bullets all over the place, and you don't know where she's going to be, then the best you could do is prepare seal area in the middle of the room, because you know usually you'd want to drop it on top of her, but you've got to know ahead of time where she's going to be. So maybe smoke screen for Dagda, but on a fight where you know where the bubble needs to be, seal area seems really, really nice. Another option that I did not use today that I read about is Scorpion Wire. Scorpion Wire is a pull, so it's a CC, and it holds 2 charges. So if you need more CC, if you're in a fight that needs a lot of it, you could add Scorpion Wire to your kit there. And the websites offer some other suggestions that I didn't really look into, like some of the signets and things like that. I was running this setup today, and maybe once or twice I saved someone with Shadow Refuge, but for the most part, it was just there as an emergency button. I think that's it for that part. Let's talk about stability and Aegis. Most supports can provide stability and Aegis in a pinch. Now, we are using Well of Bounty off cooldown. It's with Alacrity, it is 7 seconds of stability with a 16-second cooldown. So almost half the time, your group just has stability because you're using this to supply other boons. So you can see there's a couple stacks of stability right there, and they will wear off before the well is available again. Now, if your group needs stability for an upcoming thing, and stability is not currently on them from the well, your second source of it is you go into Shroud and your 5 button. Your 5 button is stability and also Aegis to the group. So they've got just kind of 50% of the time you've got stability 100% of the time, but then you've got one other source of it if that's not enough. So that's certainly not bad. It's a little awkward to me because that means to access your stability, this has to be off cooldown or just like kind of lined up with the problem, or entering Shroud has to be available. However, they're both pretty quick cooldowns, so if you're knowledgeable about the fight, you could be like, okay, we're going to need a stability in like 5 seconds. This is going to come off of cooldown in like 2. I'm going to let this come off cooldown, wait a couple more seconds, then go into the Shroud so that I can stability and line it up with the problem. Or whatever, you know, that kind of thing. So it's certainly not bad. It's got access to 2 forms of stability. You just need to, plan ahead a few seconds for using them, because Shroud has an 8-second cooldown after you leave it, and Well of Bounty has a 20-second cooldown, both of those reduced by Alacrity. I think that's basically it. Now, the offhand dagger and the offhand pistol, I never used today. There was one moment I was like, ooh, I should have used the dagger there, and that's because the dagger 5 is a... Am I getting this wrong? Stab your foe and vanish. The dagger 5 is a stealth, which I believe because of your traits, yeah, it does a heal around you, so you can do that. And then the pistol 5 is a blind, and the pistol 4 is CC. So you could use the pistol 4 a bunch of times for CC, especially if you had a gun with the paralyzation sigil on it. One of the build options from the Snowcrow's website is to run Scepter pistol and then another pistol. And one of the pistols has transference, so it helps with healing output, and the other pistol has paralyzation, so it helps with your CC. So you swap to the right pistol for the right job. That is another thing that you could do. I did not try that today, but that is another option. The offhand for the thief also affects the 3. True. Yes, for any not thief mains, your 3 skill is a combination of your main hand and offhand weapons. I never really used the 3 today. I think neither of the builds I was looking at on Snowcrows or on Guild Gen used the weapon 3. I don't think either one did. It's possible I overlooked it, and, I welcome correction if I did, but I don't think either of them did. With the exception, there was one exception. On Snowcrows, they did mention using the 3 on a teammate, because this skill does something different. So you could target a teammate and then use 3 2 times to trigger Endless Night, which does a bit of barrier, vigor, and regen, but you don't have to. Let's talk about targeting. So one of the issues I had with this class is, like, I have played many builds in other MMOs that, required ally targeting. This game just really isn't built around it, and it feels awkward to me to do ally targeting and then enemy targeting back and forth just because of how the game's systems are. So I really dislike playing a build that requires me to target enemy, target ally, target enemy, target ally. So that's like Revenant with their Scepter, or Specter, for example, to name 2 of them. So with this, I looked up, and it's like, if you were going to go as hard as possible on Specter, you would be doing some ally targeting from time to time. However, you don't have to anymore. And that's a huge difference from what it was the last time I tried it. You do not have to do ally targeting. You can, like, before the fight, you can target an ally with Siphon and hit them with it one time. Now I'm just going to target this guy, but I'm just going to, zap. So just do that before the fight, and it's a 10-second cooldown. Like, just as soon as you enter into the raid of the strike, just zap one of your teammates. And then they're your tether target, and your healing is also emanating from them. And then for the rest of the encounter, you can just be zapping the enemy with Siphon for boons and play as the way that I just showed you, and you're fine. You're fine. Now, again, you could probably squeeze a little bit more out of the class by doing occasional ally targeting, especially with the 3, but it no longer feels required. I cleared the daily strikes today, which were, includes Bone Skinner, which I mentioned before, has higher healing requirements than any of the normal raid bosses. We cleared Old Lion's Court, which a lot of newbies struggle with, and we cleared Temple of Phoebe. There was a spicy selection of strikes today, and did fine in all of them, except for when someone stood in like a Bone Skinner puddle, which can't heal through that. But yeah, this definitely is a whole lot better than it used to be. I had fun with it. It was very solid. I definitely, if I played it more, I could get more out of it. Because like I said, I made almost no use of my offhand or the 3. And if I learned more about that and built more muscle memory, I could do more with it. In my mind, after only playing this for a couple of hours in Shroud, 3, 4, and 5 were all just emergency heal / barrier. If I was in Shroud, health bars didn't look good. Slam on the 3, 4, and 5 keys. 5 was also stability and Aegis if we needed it on demand. And then, like I said, the rotation was pretty simple too. It was pretty easy to learn, even for me with my goldfish brain. So definitely solid. Pistol 4 is a solid CC if you don't have Basilisk Venom. Yep, I mentioned that. Yeah, Pistol 4 is a CC, and you can just use it over and over and over as long as you have initiative. You can just, boom, I just used it 4 times back to back, so more CC options there if you need it. In the control settings, you can set a hotkey for target next ally. Yes, if you don't mind adding a hotkey to the list of hotkeys you're already using, there is a thing in the key bindings to target a marked ally or to target the nearest ally. You can use those as well if you wish to do so. Again, it didn't feel required with the changes they've made, but you would be a better Specter for doing it. And I think it's very important to stress that, because I don't want all the veteran Specters to be like screaming, oh my god, Muck is training all the newbies. No. I want to say again, I was a newbie trying it out for a few hours. I can already tell it's so much better than it used to be. But also, if you wanted to get even more out of it and get the most Specter out of your Specter per Specter, then definitely do some ally targeting from time to time for the appropriate abilities. Yeah, I think that's it. I think that's all I got to say about it. It's pretty good. It's definitely a whole lot better than it was, and I'm happy to see it. And if you've got any questions, problems, thoughts, concerns, or comments about Specter that you think I missed or glossed over, I'll put it in the comment section down below, and I will fight you there. All right, there we go, chat. It's done. It is done. I believe the other class that I hated trying once upon a time was Heal Catalyst. And I've heard that that's gotten a makeover since I last tried it too. So maybe tonight I'll try Heal Kata or something else. I don't know. We will see. We will see. Let's see. It's also annoying the tooltip for Shadow's Refuge doesn't show that it revives downed allies. Yeah, that's what I was mentioning. The tooltip for Shadow's Refuge and the tooltip for the well that cleanses conditions do not have all their information on there. You played Kata after makeover, I thought. I'd have to double check. I don't remember. Can you link your necrovid? I have a lot of necrovids. What necrovid? I mean, just if you mean the most recent I tried necrovid, just go to my... Here, hold on. Here's a link to my YouTube. It's one of the most recent videos. Catalyst energy gain is so much better now. Yeah, I remember there used to be a thing is like you couldn't gain energy while the orb was out. And so you had to gain the energy like in between orbs, which was really rough and janky. Yeah. Okay, let's see. Let's go park this guy. This guy was in... I don't know if I need to have him back at the chest in Naos, but he was at the chest in Naos. I'm happy to finally enjoy Heal Spectre. It's my favorite class to play, and now I can heal in groups more comfortably. Yeah, that wasn't bad at all. It definitely... Like, it took some getting used to, right? But it was not bad at all. Like, Old Lion's Court Temple of Phoebe and Bone Skinner, those are all pretty spicy encounters, especially for like pugs and stuff, but that was not bad. Muk, I was considering bringing the crossbow, but I found that it changes the projectile on 3 to a bolt, and my headcanon is that 3 is my magic buff grenade. Okay. My magic buff grenade. Is Druid still your favorite healer? Honestly, I've been having the most fun lately on Untamed Healer. However, Untamed does not have a way of providing stability to its group, so there are some fights that I would not bring it to. So you can't just bring it to anything. But when I'm in open world, if I'm doing like a meta, I often do Untamed Heal. It's a lot of fun. But I still play Druid quite a bit, yeah. I think most recently when we did the video on the Kinfall Fractal, I was playing Druid in that one. 8 months ago was Beardluck? Something like that. Okay, that doesn't work well. Felt like years ago. It's basically like all last year was Beardluck. Okay, somewhere around here is the treasure chest. Alright, there it is. Wonderful. Okay. Cool. Oh, that was a productive morning, chat. Dude, that was only a 4-hour stream. Feels like 10. We're cranking out videos and all kinds of stuff. Alright. Chat, thank you guys for joining me today. I am out of time. I need to go do some stuff with the family, so I'm not just a deadbeat dad playing video games all day. I will be back in about 5 hours for the evening stream if you wish to join me. Usual plugs on the way out. If you're new to my channel, my name is Muk. I stream every evening and every weekday morning. We do Guild Wars 2 every Tuesday. I'll be back this evening doing more Guild Wars 2 stuff and the weekly giveaway. After we do some Guild Wars 2 stuff in the evening, I'm going to be starting, by recommendation from a bunch of people, a game called Heavy Rain. It is apparently similar to Detroit Become Human, which was a game I really enjoyed. It's a story with quick time events with many endings based on how good or how bad you are at the game. So I'm going to be trying this out this evening after that, if you have any interest in that. And then tomorrow morning I'll be back with our Warhammer 40k Road Trader playthrough. Usual stuff. Follow me on Twitch. Subscribe if you're watching on YouTube. There's links to both my YouTube channels. Special thank you to the patrons who keep me in business. Couldn't do it without you guys. There's a link to that if you're interested. After saying all that, I'm going to find someone on the Twitch side to raid just to support the community. Laura's on time. Oh my god. All right, I'm gonna raid Loranity. I'm going to give her positive reinforcement for being on time. If you have any favorite emotes, get ready to spam them. Get ready to go crazy. Oh, I've got a new raid emote. If you're a sub to me, you could use the new raid emote. Invade her channel. All right, see you guys over there. Have a good day. I'll be back tonight. Yeah.
Hope you all had a good weekend. Like I said, my weekend was quite good. I was definitely the sickest on